account. You pay it in the border crisis and out-of-control crime wave. And now, they've driven America into a recession. Our most powerful weapon to stop them is our vote. It's in our hands to stop the damage they're doing to our families and America. November 8th, vote.
KFTK FM Florissant.
Are we?
Oh.
Oh, man. They don't even know what we're talking about because we're looking down. Here's what we're talking about. We're talking about backpack and my nails are huge. They're just big. Yeah. You want to see my middle one?
No. Stop.
We have a packed show.
Yeah, it's
Let's
a
get to
huge
that.
show, and we're going to take the whole time talking about that. Hannah, you want to lead off?
I will lead off. In a few minutes, I'm going to leave and go call Steve Cortez. He's going to come on. He is the former Trump campaign operative, so that's cool. And then we'll have Hans von Spakovsky to join us again at 12:25.
What do you want me to ask Hans about? What story?
What he's going to be for Halloween.
Trump legal.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Trump? That's really like where your thoughts are?
Not really, but that's the main legal story that I can think of.
More than Hunter Biden?
You think that?
I'm
Has
asking.
there been like a lot of breaking news with Hunter Biden stuff?
I guess you'll have to listen to the show.
Well, I haven't seen much since they said they might have something. I mean, unless I missed something
seen
this
much
morning.
because it's Hunter Biden and they don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Here's a headline from this morning. Former acting Attorney General Matt Whitaker says Hunter Biden was targeted in Chinese intelligence mission.
I'm sure that's
I
true.
mean, I would target him if I was China.
No kidding.
Here's an easy mark.
All right, then we have Tyrus at 107.
What should we talk to Tyrus about?
What's he gonna be for Halloween?
Ask if he dresses up. I'll ask if he dresses up.
Mhm.
I'm going to ask him about grown-up Halloween dress-up parties. Should adults dress up? Because if you look at the YouTube poll today, I would vote no.
That's a pretty straight to the point question.
Yeah, this one I think is going to be a landslide.
Yeah, I do too.
All I'm going to do the whole show is create new Google accounts to vote no.
There's a lot.
The whole show to
What's
create.
gonna be nice is that it's just gonna be
She's going to do it, and there's
So
still
much.
only going to be like a 1%.
It's going to be 32 no votes. And
and a whole lot of silence while you're
did you
figuring out
have
how
you
to-
talked about the YouTube live chat poll today?
Not.
So
The
we're
YouTube
just
live-
randomly talking about
What we're
things
talking
that
about it. The YouTube live chat poll is: should we dress Annie up as Abraham Lincoln for Friday tomorrow for our Halloween show? And you've got two possibilities there: yes or no.
like a real life
But
thought.
really, you only have one possibility.
no.
It's yes.
No.
Beard and all.
Yeah,
Weird
we're
and
talking
all.
about later in
Beard
life
and
Abe
all.
Lincoln here. We're not talking about early Abe.
Yeah. We're not talking about vampire.
You can vote yes, but there's a stipulation.
Right.
I'm not doing it unless we really earn it.
So, what do we got to get? 255 votes?
Over.
Over 255
Over
votes.
255 votes on the YouTube poll. So if you're here right now, go vote in the YouTube poll.
Go vote no.
Go
Go vote yes.
I would love to see Annie in a beard.
Hotter than expected.
Maybe. I mean, that's the goal.
Is it?
Yeah. I think it's always the goal.
That's not Ryan's goal.
Whatever you're doing in life, don't you want to be like, I know you're Abraham Lincoln, but you're still looking pretty good.
Yeah,
There's no instance where that's not the goal.
I don't know. I can't think that. Yeah, I can't really think of any situation. Never mind. I'm not gonna give up what I'm gonna do tomorrow.
I can't.
Don't give up what you're gonna do.
I'm
Tomorrow.
not.
No,
I don't
I know. I can
think
think of an instance where I don't want to be
Oh.
like really good looking.
Where?
When the girl on your blind date wants to kiss you and you don't want to kiss her.
Well, why are you still in a blind date and still in a position to be
I'm a
kissed?
good wingman for my friend,
I
and I
remember
ran out
this
of room.
story. I remember this
I
story.
ran out of room. There was a house behind me. I couldn't keep backing up.
He's traumatized from this.
This is bad.
Was she saying like joke eyes and stuff? Yeah, I would.
No.
Joe says Annie is a woman with nice blonde hair. Don't make her dress up as a man with a beard.
We didn't ask you, Joe.
I did.
We kind of
Joe.
did.
Well, actually, we
Did
are
you vote in the
very much
poll?
asking
That's
you.
literally the question. Yeah.
Yeah.
We literally asked Joe.
Never mind. Forget
Here's what we should do. Instead of going and buying a fake beard, we shave
Oh.
Brad's and maybe mine, and then
Maybe mine too.
theater paste.
Hannah doesn't actually shave. She just bleaches.
Yeah.
If you cut your hair into a pixie cut, we could use your hair as a beard for anyone with more natural than blonde.
She looked more like a Viking than a president.
Hotter than expected.
I didn't expect it. Braid it.
If you want some YouTube views, saying we cut Hannah's hair and pasted it on Annie's face.
That's so weird.
It is. So we also have one more guest that we didn't mention yet, and that's Tom Homan. He's the former acting director of the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, otherwise known as ICE. And he's going to call in, and we're going to talk to him about the what's going on at the border, the latest numbers, and that sort of thing. And yeah, so that'll be a lot of fun. So
Tomorrow, Brad is going to shave his beard.
No, we're not talking about tomorrow right now. We're talking about this show right now.
Okay?
We don't want to. We do not want to give away anything yet.
Yeah, tomorrow doesn't even exist. And nothing's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be boring.
Also,
unless we get 255 votes on the YouTube poll.
yeah, just 255.
More than that. More than 255.
255.
So-
Why that number? I don't know.
Call your
Super
parents,
secret
call your
reason.
kids, call your grandkids, have them vote on the
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
We can have that vote.
I want to see Annie wear the beard.
As we all do.
I'm gonna make. Never mind.
On the bucket list, actually. Annie and a beard.
Yeah, keep making those accounts to vote no, Annie.
I am right now.
Those add to the vote total.
Annie Fry 1, Annie Fry 2, Annie Fry 3.
The rest of my bucket list is things like visit Alaska. And then Annie and a beard is also in there. So.
I might fund your trip to Alaska.
What's that?
I might fund your trip to Alaska.
Just
Okay.
Half,
one way though, right?
just the first part.
Just one way.
Oh.
You figure out how to get back.
I will. It'll be a super long cruise. I'm just going to stay right here because everybody left.
We can handle that for 14 seconds.
All right. Well, we're gonna put this back on
For
here.
more details, that's becco.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from the Gelman team of eXp Realty. Selling your home, every situation is unique. Find the best options that are right for you from the real estate team who offer more options. My friends Mark and Neil Gelman. Check out the only agents that I trust at thegelmanteam.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
My opponent just said she will not mandate COVID vaccines at this time. Let me be clear to all of the parents who are out there. I will not mandate COVID vaccines for your kids ever. I don't believe that there should be COVID vaccine mandates right now for our kids at SUNY and CUNY and community colleges and elsewhere.
So there you have Lee Zeldin, Congressman Lee Zeldin in New York challenging Kathy Hochul, the heir apparent for the governor's seat when Cuomo did the Cuomo thing and, of course, got out of there. You've got a choice in New York, that big blue state up in the Northeast, to vote for mandates or to vote against mandates. Even here in St. Louis County, you have a choice to vote for mandates and vote for Sam Page, or to vote against mandates and vote for Manavati. You have these choices in front of you, and Illinois absolutely has the same. What a stark difference that America has experienced in their state governments, in their local governments in the last 2 years. Isn't it pretty evident which party is invested in protecting your personal freedom, and the other which is invested in doling out your freedoms. Those are permission slips, folks. That's not liberty. I want to just get our next guest here onto the Annie Frey Show. We thank you for tuning in to us today here to spend some of this beautiful afternoon with us in St. Louis, because there are so many people around the country who are looking at Democrat races that should be shoo-ins in any other election year. Those races are tightening. How many will tighten in enough time to get the challenger, the Republican underdog, over the finish line come November 8th? Well, we're watching Illinois and we're watching Governor Pritzker, and we're going to see what happens. Let's get our guest, Steve Cortez, former Trump campaign operative. You can read Steve Cortez at stevecortez.substack.com. And he joins us now. Steve, welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Always a pleasure to have you here.
You bet, Annie. Thanks for having me.
Of course. You know, I opened my Twitter account when I was laying in bed, roll over to see if the world was on fire. And it still was, so everything was fine. The world, I look there and I'm scrolling and I'm seeing tweet after tweet after tweet from a bunch of different publications suggesting that the races are getting more in favor of Republicans, that there are Democrats that are concerned that hadn't previously been concerned. And, you know, locally, we just look at ours here in the state of Illinois, some local races we have here in St. Louis County, and we realize that this Democrat mandate control happy world that we've been living in, I think Americans are officially getting fed up with it.
Yeah, indeed. I think they've had enough. And because of that, I think almost every geography in America is in play. For that matter, I think almost every demographic group is in play. You know, I've been saying for many months that it's been this election's chiefly and principally about the two I's, and I mean by that inflation and immigration, the two worst created crises of the Biden administration, along with the complicity of a whole lot of Democrats across the country. And I'm now adding a third I, though, because of what the CDC did, and that is injections, and injections particularly for your kids, compulsory injections, which I think are very much on the ballot. So I wrote an article about this and put it up at Real Clear Politics, and thankfully it's getting a lot of buzz, and I'm really trying to encourage candidates, including Darren Bailey in Illinois, who made a very strong stand. I'm encouraging them to be very vocal about this issue, that this is on the ballot for November 8th. And parents need to know this because the CDC added the COVID vaccinations to the regular schedule of childhood inoculations. Now, that is unprecedented for them to add such a brand new treatment. It's also unprecedented for them to add a treatment for a disease that does not in any statistical way pose a material risk to those very children. So I think they did it for reasons, unfortunately, of corruption and narrative rather than science and logic. But regardless, the fact that the CDC did this is going to give permission and political cover. It's going to give the imprimatur to a lot of tyrannical leaders around the country, and J.B. Pritzker is certainly one of them, to say to the children of Illinois, to the parents of Illinois, that just as you need other long-standing, decades-old vaccinations, your child is going to need to get injected with this new big pharma vaccine to get into school. And I think that should properly scare a lot of parents. It does. We know that parents, I point this out in the article, have overwhelmingly rejected the idea of injecting their children with this vaccine. For babies and toddlers, believe it or not, you can get this as young as 6 months old. For babies and toddlers, only 3% have been injected right now with the COVID vaccine in America. And even for school-age children from age 5 to 11, only 30% have been injected. So the vast majority of American parents have said no thank you, have decided to forego this vaccine for very, very valid reasons. And what I'm trying to tell the parents of Illinois and other states, New York, I'm glad you played that clip. New York is certainly one of them. These other places where there are pro-mandate, pro-lockdown Democrat governors, that this issue is very much on the ballot. And I think it's a winning issue politically because I think there's a lot of parents out there, especially moms, who may not agree with us on a lot of politics, wouldn't call themselves MAGA or America First or part of the Trump movement. But, boy, they don't want their kids to be forced into vaccination from this COVID vaccine. And I encourage people to think hard about that. And I hope it's going to be part of closing the gap between Pritzker and Darren Bailey, who, again, has taken a strong stance saying this will never happen if he's governor.
Steve Cortez joining us on the Annie Frey Show right now. You think about it this way. You know that the likelihood of a mandate coming from J.B. Pritzker in the governor's office in the state of Illinois, it's likely. All the context of what we have for the last 2 years is if there's a mandate out there, gives him authority and power over what the people of Illinois are doing, he's going to take the opportunity. We're still under a declaration. We have an emergency declaration right now. It goes past the election in the state of Illinois. The only governor that gives you a choice as to what to do with your own body and the bodies of your children is if you elect Darren Bailey, because Darren Bailey is not going to stop you from vaccinating your child if you think that's what's best for your child. You can still vaccinate your child should you choose to want to do that. Pritzker, if you want to reelect him, he's going to make that decision for families in Illinois, which is going to lend to something else that I've seen you quite thoroughly talk about, the flight out of Illinois, yourself included. And that's rooted, going back to that one eye that you mentioned, in inflation. The economy in the state of Illinois is insufferable for the taxpayers who remain.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And listen, I'm speaking to you from Tennessee, which is my new home. Tennessee is full of Chicagoans. Now, I'm thrilled to have fellow Chicagoans around, but I'm also saddened in a sense, right? Because it's almost like we are the diaspora, like, we're the refugees who had to flee. And by the way, I fled for a variety of reasons. And I raised a family in the city of Chicago, lived for 25 years in the city proper, raised a family there. For the most part, it was a great experience, but particularly by the end, it wasn't at all, between the taxes and the crime and the liberal nonsense. And then this issue, what really pushed us to the brink of saying we have to go was having children who are athletes and knowing that in the city of Chicago, to play high school sports, vaccination was going to be required. And we just absolutely were not going to do that. So it's one of the reasons that I moved. But I also know that a lot of people either don't want to move or for various reasons can't move for, family or financial reasons. And I totally understand that. And I want to make Illinois better for them. And I don't want people to feel pressured to move. That's just been the reality, unfortunately, now for a very long time. And it's accelerated under J.B. Pritzker, this trend of people voting with their feet and leaving. And what I want to warn people about is there's a lot of reasons. Inflation, you're exactly right, is certainly one of them to fire J.B. Pritzker. I think injections for your children, another good reason. And on that topic of the economy, by the way, I just posted actually today on my social media one of my chalk talks, which I've kind of become known for. If you're an ex-jock, if you played sports in school, you remember the chalk talks from your coach. I try to sort of evoke those memories, but I talk about the jobless rate of Illinois, which is 4.5%. Now, by historical standards, that's not a bad jobless rate. But guess what? Today, compared to every neighbor of Illinois, the 5 states that surround Illinois, that's a terrible jobless rate. It's the highest jobless rate in America, and it's literally 50% higher than the average of the 5 neighboring states of Illinois. So the listeners who are in Missouri should be glad that they have a far better run state and that the jobless rate of the 5 states combined is less than 3%. Illinois is 4.5% and rising. And then on inflation, significantly worse in the state of Illinois. A gallon of gas, according to the AAA averages, a gallon of gas in the state of Illinois on average is 60 cents higher than the combined average, again, of the 5 surrounding states. So it's a state that's being incredibly mismanaged from both an economic standpoint and then on the mandate and lockdown side. Believe me, Pritzker's second term means that he's going to try to force your kids to get injected. I'm saying let's fire him. Let's not ever give him that opportunity. And, yeah, to your point, Annie, look, parents out there who want to have their kids injected, I don't agree with that decision, but that's your decision to make. That is totally up to you. You have autonomy. You have authority over your household, and you will make that decision. And Darren Bailey will never stop you from making that decision, but he is not going to force that needle into your child's arm for a disease. By the way, I can't emphasize this enough, for a disease which statistically has almost zero serious risk for children.
We're speaking with Steve Cortez here on the Annie Frey Show. I want to give you one last opportunity with your familiarity with Darren Bailey and also how the city of Chicago was run, how the state of Illinois has been run by a supermajority of Democrats that know no limits because their authority is never checked by another party. Things like the Safety Act, the Purge Law here in the state of Illinois that got passed, the Republicans didn't even get a chance to look at it. The Democrats didn't even really have to read it. They could push it through because they have that much access to control and power in Illinois state government. The only assertion that I see from the Pritzker campaign on any regular basis about Darren Bailey is that he's extreme. J.B. Pritzker doesn't think the people of Illinois, I think he doesn't think they're capable of it, but he doesn't believe that the voters in Illinois want to know anything about Pritzker's policies versus Bailey's policy. He does name calling just like a mean girl would. And he goes and he points to Darren Bailey and he says he's an extremist. In my opinion, as a resident of the state of Illinois, there is no bigger extremist than J.B. Pritzker, and he's proven that. We know what his record is. In your experience knowing Darren Bailey and having observed J.B. Pritzker, where is the extremism?
Yeah, no, listen, the extremist clearly is Pritzker, and particularly so on that issue of crime, which I'm glad that you mentioned. There can't be a softer on crime leader in America, I think, than J.B. Pritzker, at least at the state level. At the local level, probably the worst is Lori Lightfoot. So we have this terrible combination, the opposite of a dynamic duo. We have a dreadful duo of Pritzker and Lightfoot, who have combined to turn Chicago into one of the most dangerous places in the developed world. That's not an exaggeration for me to say that. That is statistically true. Last year, 2021, in Chicago, over 800 murders, the highest in the nation. They're also both allies, unfortunately, of Kim Foxx, who is a Soros-backed, feckless prosecutor who refuses to enforce the law, refuses to back police and punish even very violent criminals. I know in St. Louis, you're suffering from the same kind of history of terrible Soros-backed prosecutors. So this is a nationwide problem. But at least in Missouri at the state level, you've got some sensible leadership. We don't have that in Illinois. I'd like to tell people, because I think this story, unfortunately, just didn't get enough attention. When some robbers, and it happened last year, and I've written about this a lot, but when some robbers robbed liquor stores and grocery stores around Chicago, and they emptied the cash registers, they took the cash registers with them, emptied them, they literally dumped them on J.B. Pritzker's mansion front lawn in the city of Chicago. That's the level of disrespect that they displayed openly for the governor of Illinois, who is himself a Chicago resident, at his private home. In a display of sort of criminal panache and disrespect. By the way, they dropped those off on their way to Michigan Avenue, the Tony shopping district of Chicago, where they robbed the Burberry store for the second time in 3 nights. And Burberry has since decided to leave Michigan Avenue. So that's just emblematic, unfortunately. It's like a scene out of Narcos, right? But it's not happening in Mexico, and it's not happening in their movie. It's happening in the city of Chicago, and that's the reality. You want to talk about an extremist, somebody who believes that people should get out on cash-free bail for serious crimes like second-degree murder and arson. That's what this Safety Act, the totally misnamed Safety Act, is going to do to the state of Illinois starting on Jan 1.
Yeah, Darren Bailey for governor, Tom DeVore for attorney general. It's going to fix the Democrat rot that goes deep in the state of Illinois. And Steve Cortez, you've always been very true to watching what's going on in Illinois and caring about it, regardless if you've left like so many other Illinoisans. We appreciate your concern for the state, and we thank you for coming on to talk to us about these important issues today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Annie.
Thank you. Let's do it again. Steve Cortez on Twitter at CortezSteve. If you want to tell him a hi and hello, thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate him. Of course, he is an America First advocate working with the Trump campaign and Donald Trump himself. And we're grateful that he spent some of his time here with you. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, Hans von Spakovsky is going to join us on the show. Continue to have some leaks and some questions that continue to surround Hunter Biden. And you got to ask yourself, is this going to become an issue that is going to be confrontable by potentially a Republican-led House? Hans von Spakovsky is the legal expert, of course, and he's our friend here on Thursdays on the Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. We'll be back in a minute.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. 97.1 FM Talk is excited to once again participate in the Florissant Veterans Day Parade on Sunday, November 6th, hosted by the City of Florissant and the Veterans Coalition. Join us for the Veterans Day Parade, November 6th in Florissant.
Slim180, myslim180.com is the website. If you think about the idea of losing weight, do you recoil at that, or do you get excited, but then you think, gosh, I try, I fail, it's not even worth it? Have you reached out to Slim180? They have multiple locations here in St. Louis, and they help men and women both. They help people who are pursuing a goal, small goal, large goal, finally drop the weight that has been so difficult to lose before. I also want to talk to folks who have never actually tried to lose the weight, but you've been more in tune with your health. Maybe in the last couple of years, you realized that if you dropped 20 pounds, you would be in a much healthier place. Man, if you drop 5 pounds, the amount of pressure on your knees that goes away, and that just, all your joints, this just has such a domino effect on your quality of life that if you haven't tried Slim 180 yet, give them a chance in a free consultation to tell you what they can do for you. And you'll be shocked at how fast the weight will come off. Find the details online at myslim180.com.
Smart businesses are always looking for ways to improve. Better workdays can start with Cintas. Your dedicated Cintas service reps help make sure you have what you need when you need it. We'll stock your essential cleaning products, deliver hygienically clean workwear, inspect your fire extinguishers, and provide first aid and safety supplies. Cintas is with you every step of the way, so you stay a step ahead. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
And Doug. Hey, listener. Welcome to Limu's Karaoke Lounge, where Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need, and the music never stops. Hit it!
There's an emu with a full-time job. His partner's Doug, but Limu's the heartthrob. Grubs and worms, that's what Limu eats. Gotta fuel up to save you money and hit the streets.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Congress has authorized trillions in new spending, along with doubling the size of the IRS agency in just the last few months. Do you think that is by accident? No, it is with a purpose, to go after small businesses, employees, and individuals who have not filed or paid their taxes. If this is you, don't panic, just call. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Interest and penalties on your tax bill won't stop until you take control. Call me, Lance Drury. I'll tell you in advance an affordable fee, which includes costs and expenses, that works for your business and family. Your first visit to the Lance Drury Law Firm is free and confidential, so you have nothing to lose. Call me today. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. You need an attorney. You need us, the Lance Drury Law Firm. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120, or go to Lance, D-R-U-R-Y law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
She said, don't you worry if I
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
And a week later returned. I reckon she was only looking for a lover to burn. But I gave her my time for 2 or 3 nights. Then I put it on pause until the moment was right. I went away 4 months until our paths crossed again. She told me I was never looking for a friend. Maybe you could swing by my room around 10.
Well, I think we had evidence in one other Hunter Biden situation where the political bias of a special investigator by the name of Timothy Thibault, he opened up an investigation based on fuzzy information about Trump. So they investigated that, and we had evidence of criminality that possible criminality that should have been followed up, and he stopped that investigation. So the fact that there's political bias in that instance and plenty of other instances that we know about, it raises the questions that we have raised in this letter. So my answer to your question is yes.
We the people of the United States.
More perfect.
Your form of our perfect union.
Heritage legal expert Hans von Spakovsky.
So let's talk to the senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation, Hans von Spakovsky. Hans, welcome back to the show. Happy to have you here with us.
Well, thanks for having me back.
Of course. Now, that was a clip that I think we even played that clip for you last week when you were in here and talking about the FBI bias and how they were investigating Hunter Biden and what was he doing and where was he doing it. But there is an exclusive report on FoxNews.com from yesterday, and it says that Senators Grassley and Johnson have been sounding the alarm on business transactions with Chinese-linked associates, CEFC chairman Yi Jianming and another official, which, quote, resulted in millions of dollars in questionable transactions. So the Hunter Biden question mark grows bigger and brighter, and I'm curious what your thoughts are on this latest development.
I tell you, it sounds like the Biden family was completely compromised. If you read that story, which I did, they're even saying they've got evidence that Hunter Biden's business partner, a woman named Jackie Bowe, she actually worked for the Communist Party of China before she went into business with Biden, and she went to a specific university in China that is a recruiting ground for Chinese intelligence services. So it's actually very possible that she was a Chinese intelligence agent who became Hunter Biden's partner, and they're saying that not only did she get deeply into the Biden family's finances and business dealings, but that also she apparently started telling Hunter Biden, you really need to get your father to run for president.
Oh, boy. Hans von Spakovsky with the Heritage Foundation with us right now. I want to give you the opportunity to detach from the details of the FBI, the politicized FBI investigation, to the laptop, detach from this specific story right now. Just take it on the whole, the context of everything that you've researched and studied on what we do know and what we assume and what we fear regarding the Hunter Biden story. How is this a political issue that should be important to every Republican, Democrat, everyone in between voter in this country right now regarding Hunter Biden and the president of the United States, Joe Biden?
Well, think about the big deal that everyone made, including the news media, when the claims were made that President Donald Trump had a secret relationship with the Russian government, officials in the Russian government, and everyone who was covering this saying that obviously this could potentially compromise the security of the United States. Now, all of that turned out to be a complete and total hoax. That's not the situation here. I mean, here, rather than a made-up fake dossier, we have the actual emails and a lot of other evidence coming straight from the son of the president, which all of this is based on. Plus, we have whistleblowers inside the FBI talking about much of the evidence that was uncovered and the fact that there were individuals in the leadership of the FBI who were trying to prevent this information from getting out and trying to prevent this investigation from going forward. And look, the latest, that a Chinese intelligence agent may have been Hunter Biden's partner. Now, what purpose would the Chinese have for that other than to compromise the Biden family? And think about what that means for the implications for the national security of the United States.
Well, you say a question there that I think does elude some potentially obvious answers, but what type of compromise? How are the American people, in harm's way and their security compromised if Hunter Biden is in that kind of relationship and Joe Biden happens to be the president of the United States? What kind of concerns exist in that relationship?
Well, who knows what kind of inside information the Chinese government, who is a declared enemy of the United States, they've said that, not us. Think about what kind of inside information they have that they might try to use against the president of the United States in all kinds of issues involving their relations with us, all the issues going on with what looks like their probable invasion of Taiwan, all of the business and economic interests we have in China. I mean, it's just one thing after another that they could perhaps try to use to get a better deal for them, one that is not a good deal for us. And to have a president put in this situation through his son is just unbelievable. I mean, I don't think we've ever had anything like this before.
So if there isn't a precedent for this type of procedure. Now, you did mention Donald Trump, the idea of Russia collusion. It all has boiled down to be a hoax. But the whole dossier and some of the things that were supposed to be in it that were really salacious and would grab a lot of attention and would, supersede a lot of the headlines just to make sure that it cut through the short attention span of the American people. They wanted to disparage Donald Trump. The idea was that in the salacious details of this dossier, that Donald Trump would be compromised because there were things that people would know about him that they could use against him to try to twist his arm to do other people's bidding other than that of the American individual. If the president currently in Joe Biden was connected to the millions of dollars that was being exchanged in Hunter Biden's bank accounts, that was connected to the CCP in China, if Hunter Biden is connected to that, what is the next constitutional logical step that should come of that revelation?
Well, I tell you, that's a difficult question. I think it means that President Biden, look, so far President Biden has been totally secret about what actually happened, and in fact has been telling what appeared to be outright lies about all of this, saying he had no involvement whatsoever with his son, when we know that he took his son on multiple trade trips when he was the vice president, that he actually had an office with his son's business. I mean, the very first thing they have to do is they have to actually finally come clean and tell the American people the truth. And not only do the American people deserve to know the truth, but coming out with the truth might prevent or stop the ability of the Chinese government to use any information that they secretly know against the president and use it to compromise him in their dealings with the United States.
This country has been put through the ringer politically. The show that has taken place in the House of Representatives with impeachment twice of the last president, watching this up close and knowing that it's been so divisive so far that it's very difficult, I think, for the American public to see any type of highlighting of an issue like this that might result in impeachment or something even more. I mean, there are lots of people very invested in seeing Donald Trump in an orange jumpsuit before they die or before Donald Trump dies. To look at people investigating the Biden family and say, this is just political payback for what they did to Donald Trump. From what I'm reading in details right now, there's a lot of smoke that people can see and identify and point to that is not being manufactured from a place. There's evidence behind it that the fire has to be sought out.
Oh, no, look, I totally agree. And again, think about the key difference between this investigation and what happened with the Russia-Trump basically hoax. In that situation, the latter situation, you had no FBI insiders, whistleblowers, coming out and making any claims that investigation was somehow being prevented from going forward. In fact, it was all the other way. Here, you actually have people inside the FBI saying that there's real evidence of wrongdoing, and in fact, partisan leadership did everything they could to compromise the investigation. Look, one of the things that ought to happen is Chris Frey, the head of the FBI, he needs to come out and very publicly state what he is doing to clean out the FBI, to make sure this partisanship is stopped, and he needs to assure the American people and explain how that they are going full speed ahead to investigate this particular case, and that political considerations will not stop the FBI from doing what they should have done years ago in fully investigating this.
Hans von Spakovsky, we always thank you for your time. And this issue every week seems to grow a little bit more and more, and we'll be right on top of it with you as you make your visits with us here weekly.
Sure. Thanks, Annie.
Thank you, Hans. The legal expert that we visit with each week here on the Annie Frey Show, Hans von Spakovsky. Check out his book, Our Broken Elections, How the Left Changed the Way You Vote. might be a good read right now before November 8th gets here. You can learn a little bit of what he has studied, and I think you'll be better for it. So let's take a quick break. Wiggins America, when we come back, he's going to talk about Biden's favorability ratings. Also, the top 5 issues that are facing voters. Do these have a correlation? Do you think that Joe Biden knows the top 5 issues that are facing your everyday existence? Think he cares? Well, come tell us on the Annie Frey YouTube live chat. And you can vote in today's YouTube live chat poll, which I strongly endorse a no vote for. Should we dress Annie up as Abraham Lincoln for our Friday Halloween show? You've got to be kidding me. We'll be right back.
Message was the only way to reach her. Now she's staying at my place and loves the way I treat her. Singing out Aretha all over the track like a feature.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Two planes the same day. And those shows have never been what it's about. But maybe we'll go together and just figure it out. I'd rather put on a film with you and sit on.
If the media ignores them, then we're talking to them. And we're posting it all as it happens. 97.1 on Twitter and Facebook.
So Stewart's American Mortgage, they are the home of the bagel loan. Bagels look like a zero. He calls it the bagel loan specifically because when you do a mortgage purchase, so you're buying a new home, or if you're doing a refinance on your mortgage, a cash out refinance of your mortgage because you need to access some of the equity in your home, guess what? He doesn't charge you any fees that other lenders out there are going to charge you for. I've used the bagel loan twice in my time here endorsing Stewie, but I basically learned the whole process, and I sold myself on it because it makes a whole lot of sense to assess your economic situation. And, you know, at the time when I did them, I was able to lower my rate both times. Rates aren't as low as they used to be, but there's still very practical uses to the bagel loan. First of all, if you're buying a home, you still want to get the lowest rate you possibly can, and Stewie can help you get that without paying all those fees and closing costs that everybody else is going to charge you for. The second thing is if you have very high interest credit card debt that's mounting up and you're paying an enormous amount of interest each month, use the equity in your home, refinance that debt and the credit card, pay it off, and then you can refinance again with the bagel loan at your earliest convenience when rates come down. And again, you don't pay fees that other lenders will charge you for. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Oh, Hank, what a wonderful spider web you have built for us. I love this fabulous space we have right here in the corner of the kitchen.
Thanks, Charlotte. I think I'll build us a vacation web in the coat closet. Maybe even one in Susie's room, too. Oh, no. It's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They always kill the mood.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
Why do I like being a jewelry consultant at Shane Company? It's fun. I get to talk with everyone, people from all walks of life. Whatever you've got going on, a birthday, anniversary, new baby, or just because, fine jewelry is an awesome gift to give. And we have something unique in every price range, backed up with a free lifetime warranty. At Shane Company, we take every step to ensure that our jewelry is the highest quality. And we continually improve our styles, even the classics, like our diamond stud earrings. Ours are simply the best pair of studs in town. The diamonds are stunning, hand-selected for their beauty and hand-matched for consistency. We have studs in every price range, different metals, and 4 diamond shapes to choose from. The classic round shape, an oval shape, princess cut, and cushion cut. We even pay attention to the earring backs to make sure they're extra secure. Visit us for a lasting, memorable gift.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
This month's Zero Res special. The more you clean, the more you save. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129 or 5 rooms starting at $199. A 43% savings. Take $75 off any air duct cleaning package. Call 314-474-2020 or go to ZeroResSTL.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits? Putting on a Ritz.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
putting on a Ritz. Strolling up the avenue.
Talking off the air about our trolls that we have and the definition of what is a troll and what isn't a troll. I think we might revisit that at 2 o'clock because there are people who troll, but I don't think dissent is trolling. So we're going to talk about it. We'll plead our cases because we have plenty of people who on our YouTube chat every day, they disagree with us. We know when we see their names that if I say anything that's a conservative basis, that they're not going to be like, wow, Annie, you really nailed that point. I mean, they're going to dissent because they don't agree with the premise of what I'm saying. I think that's cool. I like that people come here. You can tell me that I'm way off base, but do it with substance and don't attack me as a person, and I'll respect you for being here, and we'll live in harmony. That's kind of what it's about, folks. But then there are the trolls. We'll kind of break down. Do you have trolls?
On Twitter?
No, just in general. Anywhere?
Yeah.
I mean, at home, at work, at play.
In your yard.
Yeah, I mean, it's just me, my wife, and my dog at home, and one of us is a troll.
Oh. I guess I probably have to ask everybody to find out. If you don't know any of the trolls, you are the troll. Is that kind of how that works?
Kinda.
Like if you're not the family a-hole, if you don't know who the family a-hole is.
Who's the black sheep of the family if you don't know who it is?
It's you.
It's you.
So, we'll talk about that at 2. Because I think we all have trolls. I think I have trolls too, but we'll go there at 2.
I have a lot of thoughts about that.
Okay. I'm going to write it down on the paper so I don't forget.
Okay, please do.
Should we do Wiggins America?
Let's do Wiggins America. Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins! It's a beautiful day in Wiggins America.
Isn't it always? Isn't that kind of the premise of Wiggins
54
America?
and partly sunny in Wiggins America.
Oh, that's too cold.
I look out the window, and if it's a beautiful day in St. Louis, then it's a beautiful day in Wiggins America.
I mean,
if it's
that's what an optimist would say.
An ugly day in St. Louis, it's a beautiful day in Wiggins America. Hey. So I'm looking back at the top issues facing voters. We've talked about this before, but today, looking at President Biden's job approval on those issues, and a couple questions I have for you. First of all, his overall job approval is holding rather steady at about -10. So the spread being that 53% of voters disapprove and 43% approve.
So, according to Joe Biden's philosophy on inflation right now, that inflation has been steady. It hasn't gotten worse.
This is a great point.
It's been bad for a while, but it's not changed in that direction, but it's
even,
steady.
So it's okay.
So he's cool.
Yeah. That logic, just for a second. Again.
Man, I wish I were dumb.
Inflation.
I wish I could live in that reality.
If it's at 25%, but it was 25% last month. Well, at least we're even. It's so crazy, the logic. But let's talk about inflation. So his job approval numbers on inflation, which, by the way, is the number one concern by far for all voters, at almost 90% of all voters saying that is a top concern for them. He is completely underwater, and it's actually one of his worst issues. So that does not bode well for him going into the midterms. -28% spread. Ooh. That is huge and historic, and that is, of course, the number one issue. Now, looking down the line here, the economy overall is number 2, and it usually is. I was looking back at past years, and I'll get into that in a second, too. The economy is always right there. But on the economy even, just overall economy, not just inflation, -19% for Joe Biden. So completely underwater on the top 2 issues. And then you got other ones in there like high gas prices, but these to me, they feed into these same topics. So I'm going to skip a couple of those and go down to the next highest, which actually election integrity is in there. That one's not one that's on my poll list. I can tell you where voters stand concerning him. But violent crime is right there. We've been talking about that. And on crime itself, -18%.
Is he good at anything?
For Joe Biden. The closest he gets to being even, you have to go all the way down to the Ukraine war and foreign policy, which is a little bit higher than you'd expect at number 6. But it's only at -5. And Annie, as I look at all of these issues, what I did was I looked at the top issues facing voters this year going into the midterm, and I compared them with the top issues facing voters going into the 2018 midterm. Do you remember just generally what we might have been talking about going into that midterm? I can tell you, but I just thought I'd see if you can remember.
Investigation.
Yeah.
And the Supreme Court.
That's exactly right. The Supreme Court and the recent confirmation of Brett Kavanaugh is on the list in 2018. But at the top of it...
Yeah, because the Democrats really ticked off people by the way they treated Brett Kavanaugh.
They really did.
That backfired.
It did, and it didn't quite crack the top 5 of issues, but the fact that that's even an issue is interesting. So we were just talking about what voters care about this year. Compare that to what voters cared about 4 years ago going into those midterms. Number 1, health care.
Wait, what year?
2018. Last midterm. Health care, and then, of course, the economy is always on the list. Number 3 is immigration. But listen to this. The way women are treated in U.S. society. That's number 4 on the list in 2018.
Me too.
Yes. I had to think about what you're just saying. You said me too.
Hashtag.
Hashtag me too. Yeah, that was going on. Gun policy doesn't even make the list this year. If you maybe want to say that's part of crime, you could. I don't know that that's exactly what people are thinking about when they answer that question. Taxes, foreign affairs, the way income and wealth are distributed in the U.S.
That was 2018.
2018.
Income inequality.
Socialism.
Yes. It appears to me in examining these things, and I want your thoughts on this, that this year, after having 2 years of a Democrat of Joe Biden presidency, the top issues facing voters are real, tangible issues that affect them every single day.
Yeah, it's good times allow you to focus on things that are less, everyday items and more theoretical items and stuff like that. And now we've had 2 years of bad times where instead of going, how are these people going to pay their bills if I don't, vote for socialism, it comes to how am I going to pay my bills because everything is expensive and I can't make enough money.
Yeah, exactly. Because when you look at 2018, you are talking about a little bit more theoretical, philosophical issues. I would even in some ways put healthcare in that, because healthcare is not something that it does affect everybody, but it's how do we approach it is kind of a big conversation.
But isn't healthcare like COVID?
Well, at the time, 2018, it wouldn't have been. 2020, it absolutely would have been one of the top issues.
What are we talking about right now?
We're talking about 2022, this midterm, versus the last midterm. 2018.
So what were the big issues in 2018 versus what the big issues in 2022 are?
Exactly. Yeah. And again, there are a lot of issues in 2018, and this is pre-COVID. So that's why it's nice to compare, because things shifted so much in COVID.
Yeah, 2020 would have been an oddball year to look at what important things were.
Because we know what the number one issue would have been. It would have been COVID.
Nope, it would have been Trump.
Or Trump, the way Trump was handling COVID, and bleach. That would have been on the issue, on the list. But the way women are treated in U.S. society, the way income and wealth are distributed in the U.S., climate change, these things, they're almost, to me, they seem more media-driven than actual things that people are caring about. And I think, Brad, you're right when you said that you're talking about the difference between what voters care about in good times versus what voters care about during bad times. We're in a bad time right now, so it's real book issues, stuff that affects everybody.
I just think it's easier to be selfless whenever you're not worried about, where your next meal is coming from or whether or not you're going to be able to make your house payment or whatever. And people get real, in good times, people get real selfless with other people's money. They see other people's success and be like, well, why can't they just help them out?
Yeah. I think what I hope that we're seeing in the U.S., and I don't know whether we're there yet or not, because we're kind of right in the middle of this and we'll have a lot of hindsight soon. But my hope is that we're getting to a point where voters will remember how much of a stark difference there is between these two parties.
But
now.
It's also interesting to compare what Biden and the Biden administration and Democrats are talking about versus what is important to people. Because they're not talking about those issues. As a matter of fact, they don't want to talk about those issues because there's nobody else to blame for it.
Yeah, concerning even issues that they do keep bringing up, like abortion and January 6th, those are not even in the top 10 among issues that voters care about, according to Rasmussen anyway. It's all stuff. I mean, fentanyl, for instance. These issues that are in the top 10, they seem to be, to me, issues that Biden himself has caused to be in the top 10. This isn't theoretical stuff. This is stuff that he directly has had impact on making people care about. Fentanyl being one that I don't think was on the list as of maybe last month, but has become one because people are realizing how big of a problem it is. High gas prices in there too, violent crime, Ukraine war, energy policy, national security. And then finally at number 10, school issues. That wasn't in there in 2018 at all, is school issues. And we saw that crop up in 2020 and 2021 a lot.
I mean, this is probably an obvious question, but when we look at this, you have to ask the question, how is this going to impact Republicans in the midterm? What are the issues that Republicans are pounding on versus what people are concerned about versus what Democrats are pounding on? I mean, isn't that what good politic is understanding what people care about, coming up with solutions for it, and then, running on those solutions?
No.
No?
No.
So what is good politic?
Good politics is making the voters believe that you care about them and that you are there for them and that the issues that you want to see come to fruition are their issues too. Good politics is about persuading people. Being a good politician is about listening to people. There's a huge difference. Like being good politics is a marketing game. It's good like if you're going to be good at politics, you are not concerned. The issues don't have to matter as much as your ability to make a connection with somebody who will be motivated to fill in a circle for you. So if you want to be good on policy and if you want to be a good elected official, you do have to be good at politics.
Right.
But politics is a mechanism to being an effective and honorable representative. And I think we have gotten so far away from that in our industry of elections, how we expect, because, it's exactly what we listened to Joy Behar say multiple times this week about how Ron DeSantis has the personality of a cup. And then she goes on to say that obviously Donald Trump would be the nominee because at least even though he has negative energy, at least he's entertaining. And then the next day it's Fetterman is, on The View, they're talking about how it's so bold and strong of him to come out and be willing to show his weakness and to use that as a strength. I mean, it's all about buying people's hearts. And honestly, I would feel, it's very subjectively speaking, so honestly, I feel like one party wins when they make people use their heart more and their head less.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that.
The media is a big part of that, though, right? I mean, the media...
Well, the media is the megaphone.
The media needs to be... The media is a different thing.
They should be a different thing.
The media is not... Politics is about the persuasion that I'm your guy or I'm your girl. Like, you vote for me and I got you. And the way that individuals do that are in varying capacities super honest and super gross.
But Democrats, you don't think they would be able to do what they're doing and make people care like in 2018 about certain issues without that megaphone that they have of the media, right? I mean,
I don't know what you mean.
The media carrying water for some of these issues, like the way people are treated in U.S. society, income and wealth distribution.
So like the media not being the representative of the people and being our voice to ask the questions and push the issue, push back on the messaging coming out. Rather, they turn around and they megaphone the issue to the people.
Well, I mean, if I were arguing this from the other side of the issue, I would say that Fox News has more viewers than anybody, the entire collective of everybody else. So it's not like the majority of the media has the majority of the people of the media that you're talking about.
Ooh. Well, we're less than a week away now? No, 2 weeks away. Week and a half away.
12 days.
12 days.
We'll be back in the next hour with Tyrus and Tom Homan, former acting director, ICE, on the immigration issue.
Hi, it's Scott and Andrea at Best Buy Flooring, sounding the alarm for all contractors. Holidays are around the corner, and we have in-stock flooring for all of your projects.
Contractor pricing for carpet, luxury vinyl plank, luxury vinyl tile, carpet tile, ceramic tile, and sheet vinyl.
2 locations to serve you, 7301 North Lindbergh Boulevard in Hazelwood, Missouri, and 1851 West U.S. Highway 50 in O'Fallon, Illinois.
Open 7 days a week. Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy. Best Buy Flooring. Hurry in.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
If you're like most Americans, you're pretty much in disbelief watching the world lose its mind. As we all know, global problems have local consequences. Too many of them. And if the next news headline spins us into chaos, are you ready? Grocery store supply chains are only as strong as their weakest link. Don't wait for them to break. Today's the day to secure emergency food for everyone in your family. My Patriot Supply is America's largest preparedness company. Our specially packaged and delicious food stays fresh for up to 25 years in storage. It'll be there when you need it. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and pick up several emergency food kits. There are a dozen different sizes that average over 2,000 calories per day. Our food kits are in stock and ship quickly and discreetly to your door. Having food storage in your home beats standing in government food lines. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and prepare for what's coming. mypatriotsupply.com.
KFTK FM Florissant.
Driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group.
97.1 FM Talk.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A new warning to Russia. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The Biden administration pushing back on potential threats to U.S. satellites.
Kremlin officials say satellite support to Ukraine is dangerous, raising concerns satellites could be viewed as targets in the war.
Any attack on U.S. infrastructure will be met with an appropriate response in an appropriate way.
National Security Council Director for Strategic Communications John Kirby says public reporting indicates Russia's pursuit of anti-satellite capabilities. He also says Iran could be sending surface-to-surface missiles to Russia as part of an ongoing partnership.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Russian President Vladimir Putin says he has no intention of using nuclear weapons in Ukraine, while also saying we face the most dangerous decade since World War II.
When the nuclear weapons exist, there is always a danger of them being used.
Through a translator there, Putin's been speaking at a conference in Moscow, accusing the West of wanting world domination and criticizing the U.S. on a number of fronts, including support for Taiwan. He says the island is part of China and that visits by U.S. officials are a provocation, at one point referring to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi as grandma. President Biden visiting Syracuse, New York to highlight Micron's recently announced plan for the largest semiconductor factory in the U.S. On his way out, telling reporters,
great economic report today, the GDP report. Things are looking good.
The economy growing 2.6% in the third quarter after shrinking the first half of the year, but Republicans still blame his policies for economic pain led by high inflation. Mortgage rates have hit a 20-year high, the 30-year fixed rate jumping to more than 7% in the new Freddie Mac report, more than doubling from this time last year as the Fed aggressively hikes interest rates to fight inflation. America is listening to Fox News.
You've got advanced prostate cancer, but you're not waiting around. You want straight talk, the facts about Orgovix.
Orgovix Relagolix 120 milligram prescription tablets is a treatment for adults with advanced prostate cancer. Fact: Orgovix is a different kind of androgen deprivation therapy treatment, a pill, not an injection. Orgovix may cause serious side effects, including a heart condition called QT prolongation. Tell your doctor right away if you feel dizzy, faint, have a racing or pounding heart, or chest pain. Orgovix can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during treatment and for 2 weeks after Orgovix treatment. The most common side effects include hot flushes, increased blood sugar and blood fat levels, muscle and joint pain, decreased blood hemoglobin levels, increased liver enzymes, tiredness, constipation, and diarrhea. Other side effects include weight gain, decreased sex drive, and erectile function problems. Orgovix may cause infertility. Talk to your doctor if infertility is a concern for you.
Go with Orgovix. Ask your doctor. For more facts, visit gowiththefacts.com.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Tons of sunshine this afternoon. Cool but near average temperatures. Light winds for a change. 62 this afternoon. Tonight, a few clouds around in the 50s this evening. Cold overnight, 38. Friday, partly to mostly sunny, 62. Saturday, partly sunny, 65. Just a tiny chance of a sprinkle Saturday afternoon. But count on some light rain showers Saturday night and Sunday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
97.1 is your place for full Decision 2022 coverage.
Decision 2022.
Sponsored by Air Comfort Service and TR Hughes Homes on 97.1 FM Talk.
Hey, it's Bo Matthews. On behalf of Beast Plumbing, want to educate you on what a hose bib is. A hose bib is basically your outdoor faucet to get water to your backyard or your driveway or on your business. And sometimes they go bad. They either leak or the handle breaks. You need to get that replaced. Well, Beast Plumbing is offering in the month of October $25 off replacement hose bibs and $50 off new hose bibs. They've got a new number you can put in your phone, 314-500-LEAK. That's 314-500-LEAK, or find them online at BEISplumbing.com. Tell them Bo sent you to Beast Plumbing.
Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden are ignoring kitchen table issues. Liberals are fighting to defund the police, indoctrinate kids, open the border, and put boys in girls' sports. I'm Ann Wagner. The people I talk to know better. Let's work for what matters most. Lower costs, parents' rights, and safer streets.
Ann Wagner is working for common sense solutions to the problems you face. She's challenged the big government machine in Washington and delivered a tax cut for middle-class families. Ann has stood with parents to defend their right to make decisions on the upbringing, education, and care of their children, protecting our kids from radical leftist indoctrination. And as crime rises, Ann has worked to protect our safety by fighting efforts to defund our brave police.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message. So pull up a chair, and together we'll turn the tables on Washington.
Fighting for your family. Ann Wagner for Congress. Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
Tune into the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del, self-made millionaire and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, will show you how to live the life of your dreams and pay for it with passive income.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
This November 8th, be sure to finish your ballot and vote for your judges. Missouri's judicial system gives voters the final say in retaining their judges. So know your judges before you vote. Visit yourmissouriJudges.org and learn about the nonpartisan judges up for retention this year. That's yourmissouriJudges.org. It's up to you to help make sure we have skilled, fair, and impartial judges. Know your judges and finish the ballot proudly. Visit yourmissouriJudges.org.
Paid for by the Missouri Bar, Misha Epps, Executive Director.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
At last, we meet for the first time for the last time.
Let's get to our guest, Tyrus.
So-called is the one that says, less government, get off my back.
Tyrus, we are going to just put you straight on the air. That got bungled. Tyrus, thanks for being on with us again. I have to ask you, because we talked last time, I think we mentioned a little Spaceballs, and I always got to bring Spaceballs back in any conversation that I possibly can. Princess Bride as well. And I have to ask you, Tyrus, are you the type of guy who likes a good dress-up costume party for grown-ups?
No, I don't. I can't say that I do.
Yeah, I thought you were definitely not going to be a grown-up costume party type of guy, but you're in wrestling and you've done acting, I
wear the required professional athletic gear required for simulated combat. So tread carefully, Fry.
Simulated combat. I like that.
Yeah, listen, I think. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not anti-Halloween. I think it's really about the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I spend my time acting amazed and helping put together the costumes and making sure that we get to go trick-or-treating. And I have my role of checking, this year especially, checking every possible thing that comes in that bag. But I make it to where it's about the kids. And like a kids party, I'm all for it. When I see adults doing this stuff, just sometimes, and it's just my opinion, I'm just thinking, just let the kids have this one.
Yeah.
And some people, it's an excuse to express themselves that normally they can't, but I just prefer, I'm a grown ass man. So,
I have so much respect for that.
And it's about the kids, and I like to hand out the trick and treat candy and see the cops. I'm a sucker for the little babies that dress up and stuff like that is cool. And
yes.
My kids my son's a Jedi this year, green lightsaber. So my daughter is a killer clown. My other daughter is a vampire, and I believe my other daughter is going as Bob the Builder.
Oh,
and
I love that.
No, I'm not looking for drugs for her. So.
No, I think that's fantastic. I think that the idea of costume parties for grown-ups, I mean, I'm not that girl. Just to begin with, I'm not that girl. I'm not interested. If there's an opportunity to go somewhere and celebrate something by dressing up, I'm not really into that. But I will go to a sporting event and put on all the sports things that I own to support that team. And I think that for people who are not into sports, they see that and they're like, it's the same thing. It's just different. But
the required accoutrement of the fan.
Yeah.
You're not you're not putting a beak on your face and red feathers in your hair and going caw every time someone gets a base hit. That's a fanatic. But you wear the required hat and possible baseball uniform of a favorite player. That's completely acceptable, and I would not call that a costume.
So at work at Fox News, do they have costume contests and costume parties? Is Greg Gutfeld walking around in a Big Bird costume or something behind the scenes?
It would never be a big costume, but
Little Bird.
I am. How would I best describe myself? I am basically Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and I never get asked to play the reindeer games. So I kind of keep to myself. I spend most of my time in the gym, my office, or FaceTime my kids. So don't really, if they did have a costume party, and again, for me, all I need is a couple pillars of bolts to put on my neck, and I'm good. So not that I couldn't just do that, but I really don't do the company parties and all that kind of stuff because I'm on the road, and whenever I get downtime, I really try to make sure that my behind's FaceTiming with my kids or getting smoked on Fortnite with my kids. So all my extra time, I try, even though I'm not physically home, I try to make that time. It's kind of it just seems like a really bad excuse. Sorry, kids, couldn't do homework and stuff tonight because Dad had to go to a party.
Yeah.
And I think that's just maturing, growing up, and putting my parent hat on. And I've traveled the world and I've seen so many things. And when you work for Snoop for 5 years, there's really no party I haven't seen. Now I just I've become the guy with wow, this music's really loud. That's where I'm at.
We could hang out. I think that
my party days are behind me. I'll go in the gross waste of financial stuff that could be put in the savings and looking for love in all the wrong places. Trust me, it's not.
We're talking to Tyrus right now, Fox News contributor, co-host of the Tyrus and Tim podcast. You see him on Gutfeld regularly on evenings on Fox News. Here's a question I have for you, Tyrus, regarding trick-or-treaters. Now, I have a 12-year-old son, and he is going as Anakin Skywalker, and that requires a certain color lightsaber that he knows, and I do not, but he does have pretty much all the colors. Blue?
He had red or blue?
Blue. My producer is saying blue.
This is pre-Dark Side.
Yeah, Darth Vader had red.
Okay.
Anakin had blue.
Blue.
But Darth Vader had blue for a little bit.
Oh. See, get it straight, boys. Which is it?
Well, no, he didn't, because he lost it when he gave up the high ground to Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan kept it. In fact, that was the one that he gave to Luke. I'm sorry, I know that, but I know.
Don't be sorry that you know that.
I don't.
But he was Darth Vader when he had that blue lightsaber fighting Obi-Wan.
Now I know.
When he killed the Paragons, he was Lord Vader with the blue saber, and then, but obviously he needed a new one because with his new arm and new legs and new hand. So then the Emperor gave him the red one.
You're a Star Wars aficionado. You know a thing or two about Star Wars.
It's the greatest. It's the greatest. The first three are the greatest of all time. Everything after that is just, whatevs.
Whatevs, just extra.
The first three is phenomenal.
Is there a time, is there an age, can you age out of trick-or-treating? Do you believe that once you reach a certain point, you shouldn't be going?
I think the number is 15.
15.
And I say that because, and I only go from my own experience, but usually the dumb stuff like, hey, let's go bag snatching and stupid puberty teenage boy crap starts around that age. So you want to act like a grown-ass man. You want to be cool and you want to do dumb boy things. I'll just shut it down. Like, hey, how old are you? Oh, I'm 16. Sorry, no candy for you. So, and I just think that's the number where you kind of, at least the trick-or-treating. I just go back to, I think it's like it's a young kid thing.
So if you're a 16-year-old and you're taking out your younger sisters who are maybe 10 and under, and you're not...
You're going into scenarios. I'm not going to be like, one for you, no.
Age check. It's like voter ID.
A pack of 15 to 16-year-old adolescent boys coming to the door for candy? No, bruh, no. Should you guys be at practice or doing schoolwork or something? Like, get it together. Like, we're trying to build young men here. Let's go. I get it. And plus, every day is cosplay for the woke and stuff. So,
you took that thought out of my mind, because I was just thinking the other day, my daughter, maybe she's 10 now. I think she was maybe 6 at the time, whenever Moana came out. I bought her the Disney Moana costume so she could be Moana. And that was when they also had out Maui costumes, and it was a suit that you could put on, had a little grass leaf skirt that went around, and it had all the tattoos on the body, and it was basically a skin suit with tattoos on it and a green skirt, and it was like a whole big freaking thing about how racist that was. I'm curious if you think...
Nobody was offended by it and just an idiot who wanted to write to get attention. Listen, I literally get called it all the time. Hey, no one told you you look like Maui? No, I hadn't heard that one before.
That's
Thank
new.
You. Because I have the tattoos and the size, not the hair though, but that was a choice. But it just goes back to no one's really angry about it, and somebody gets on Reddit or social media, and we all, everyone fell for that. But we're seeing people now are not putting up with it anymore, and it's not cultural appropriation. It's not. I'm telling you right now, Brodus Clay, when I was in the WWE, the Funkasaurus. Halloween costume came out, and it was in like my little red tracksuit and my gold chain and all that, and it was kids of every possible spectrum posting pictures of it, and I was not more flattered and more honored and excited, and I was not once did I cross and say, hey man, that little white kid shouldn't be wearing that hip hop stuff. That's just ignorant and stupid. And I guarantee you, The Rock, when he saw kids wearing the Maui things, he felt like, wow, that's cool. That was a hell of a performance. So I did so well that little kids want to be like me.
Yeah.
So I would think that message is way stronger than some idiot on a computer going, it's totally racist. There was no Tongan group, Samoan group, Hawaiian group coming out going like, how dare you? I mean, wasn't blackface. There's a big difference. To honor someone, to want to be somebody. Every child for a long time wanted to be Michael Jackson every Halloween, and it's just the list. Everybody wants to be The Rock. Everybody wanted to be Stone Cold Steve Austin. Everybody wanted to be Freddy Krueger. Like you see something and you want to emulate it for one night, you go do the voodoo that you do. And the people that made those characters, I'm telling you, like, wow, that work was worth it. That sacrifice was worth it. And every time I see someone dress up as the Funkasaurus for Halloween, I get a little tingle in my heart. And I never want to say, well, let's see what's this guy's DNA here?
Yeah.
Hold on.
It doesn't make any sense.
Man, what is going on,
I just wonder how can you have, we hear about cultural appropriation all the time.
I hate to cut you off, but it's a melting pot. Everybody here's got something from somebody. Hate to break it to you. You're not authentic. It's not appropriation.
You're whispering like Joe Biden.
You're not reinventing the wheel. You know, you're not waking us up to, oh my gosh, somebody's dressed like Mickey Mouse. All the mice should be called and apologized to. Just you know, there was this great Bugs Bunny saying all back in the day, and I think it's relevant now, where you just say, shut up.
Yeah.
That.
Oh man.
Shut up. Just shut up. You know,
it seems like we've lost our ability to have cultural appreciation at the behest of cultural appropriation. And the suggestion that we're all different and we might want to bring something in from different cultures, and celebrate that, we've completely lost the ability to do that without having to be full of fear while you're engaging in it.
Literally every Disney movie that came out, one of my children was either reborn Mulan, became Maui, wanted to be the dragon. Like as the list goes, everybody wanted to be Marvel. They wanted to be Spider-Man. They wanted to be this. I didn't pull them aside and be like, well, hey, Spider-Man's Irish, so let's be careful. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't care. The people that write that, it's one person, and they write them that they're so woke and so enlightened. We got to start saying, shut up. Okay? Not appropriation. You know what? And even if it is, so be it. If my child wants to look up and dress like Maui for one night for somebody who made a move, because then I'm getting mad. Then you literally unless you are from the South Pacific, you cannot see the movie Maui, as it will depict cultural things from this group. So please, if you're not from that, this is why their movies fail miserably. This is why Bros was O's, because nobody saw it. You exclude everybody. You talk bad about everybody. You only make things for us, and if you're not us, you can't watch it. And nobody showed up to see it. So that's woke, and you go broke. And everybody else, we all want to be that way, and it's fine. It's a good thing. It's what makes America great. And my kids read about George Washington, and they come home and they want to get the white wig and surrender power to the people, all for it. I'm not going to pull them aside and be like, hey, just so you're aware, this guy owns a slave. It's just stupid. It just shut up.
You make such a good point about the people who are offended by this. And I was thinking about this the other day because President Biden has said on multiple times, almost as if he's taking credit for it, that when you tune into the television, you see a lot of biracial couples on there. You see a lot of people of color in these commercials. It's interesting to think and boil it all down and understand that those are commercials where people are they're trying to sell something to people. And when you realize that about 75%, 70% of the country is a version of white, 13% is black, Hispanic has risen in percentage, that marketing boardrooms have determined when you have the majority of people in the country being white, that the majority of people will be more likely to buy something if they see people who actually don't look like them. And those are investments that people who are selling things have made, that this has all become an industry that at the end, there's always a dollar involved somewhere. And the actual idea of wrapping our arms around people who may not be like us, it's way lower on the priority list than how do we make that buck?
Oh, yeah, well, let's break it down like this. Mountain Dew, nutritionally good for no one, right? But they put NBA players and WNBA players and rappers and dancers who majority of the time are usually either black or Hispanic in their commercials. So yes, they're very open-minded that they will use minorities to sell stuff that rots everybody's teeth and contributes to obesity and type 2 diabetes. But hey, they did it with a smile on their face and look, we're including everybody. Here's the thing. Again, you just have to laugh and be like, I get it. You can't have enough families where no one's hair matches. Like everybody is like, the kids are from Asia and India. Dad is from Harlem. Mom is from France, even though it's a little too white, I guess. They're these we get it. And I think, but I would love just to have the best actors on the auditions to get the commercials.
Yeah. 100%.
Wouldn't that just be great if we actually saw the best of the best? And you know what? I think in the spirit of competition or whatever, let the best person, because it's about opportunity. But again, virtue signaling is usually an excuse for other bad behaviors. So yes, our products aren't regulated. The sugar intake is ridiculous, but we have a transgendered spokesperson. So therefore it's better. And I get it. You're going to take the acting job, and I get it. But what I'm saying is that, and then they want to say, look at how bad everyone is for not doing what we're doing. But yet you're still selling a product which is not good for anybody.
Yeah.
It's not like you're pushing carrots and celery and a healthy diet and whatever. No. You're pushing candy, junk, Snickers, Pepsi. I mean, those are the big commercials that everybody sees. And yes, they're completely multicultural and diverse, but at the same time, they're still pushing something that's not good for anybody.
Tyrus,
but they do it with a smile on their face, so whatever.
Yeah, that dollar always creeps in there, and it makes everything make a lot more sense, because outside of the dollar, it doesn't really make any sense at all. All right, Tyrus, we'll talk to you again next week. Thank you for being here with us. We appreciate you, co-host of the Tyrus and Tiff podcast. You see him on Gutfeld, and please consider a great Christmas gift if you're started to do your gift shopping. Just Tyrus, a Memoir. His book, I've read it. It is fantastic. I've done the audiobook. Brad read the actual paper book, and we highly recommend it. So Just Tyrus, a Memoir. Check it out. At Planet Tyrus on Twitter. Thank him for coming on, and we'll catch up with him next week when we come back. Tom Homan, the former acting director of ICE, and what he has to say about that damning immigration report that was released this weekend.
As the music dies, something in your eyes calls to mind a silver screen, and all it's sad.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Though it's easy to pretend, I know you're not a fool. Should've known better.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
On the next Mark Reardon Show, my friend John Ziegler, fellow talk show host, has a new project called The Death of Journalism. He's right, and we're going to talk about it.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
The website's FoleyDentalGroup.com. So if you want to look into some of the different services that you can get at Foley Dental, you can check it out at FoleyDentalGroup.com. They're taking new patients right now, so reach out to them and schedule your appointment today. I want to tell you why the Frey family goes to Foley Dental Group, because they have amazing dentists, the top dentists in the area, working at Foley Dental Group with multiple dentists available to you. So if you're looking to get in and to have an appointment made and get it pretty quickly, they're going to work their butts off to accommodate you. They have a brand new building right at 270 and 159 on the Illinois side. It is fully ready for all the dental needs that you may need to have accommodated. Top care, concern for your comfort, making sure that they are thorough and that they are gentle in the process of giving you the best possible dental care that you are going to get in when it comes to getting fillings quickly and just getting a general teeth cleaning. I mean, if that makes you uncomfortable, that's understandable as well. It makes a lot of people uncomfortable. Their setup is that with which will make you feel at ease with the whole process. The anxiety is not there. Go to Foley Dental Group. 618-288-9670, online at FoleyDentalGroup.com.
Some things happen slowly, and maybe you don't notice right away that you're slowing down, that you don't recover as quickly from injuries or sore muscles, and you kind of wonder why, but you just go on with your life. Victory Men's Health was set up with you in mind. They have medical doctors who've been working in the area of men's health specifically for 30 years. If you've got low T, if you've got ED, if you're dealing with any of those issues, don't suffer in silence. You can thank me later. Book your appointment at victorymenshealth.com.
Annie Frey here to talk to you about the ENTs that are going to put you at the center of their practice. I'm talking about Gateway ENT. Online at gatewaydoctors.com, you're going to learn about one of the oldest private practice ear, nose, and throat groups in the area with multiple convenient locations for you. West County, Sunset Hills, Festus. For more than 40 years, they've been happily caring for children and adults. They are the most cost-effective alternative to ENT practices that are employed by large hospital systems. Learn more online at gatewaydoctors.com.
Honey, it's time to leave for the game. Are you still in the basement? We're going to be late.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I'm trying to clean up the water from last night's rain. These cracks in the basement walls aren't getting any better.
I told you to call Midwest Basement Tech. They fixed our neighbor's basement and it's been dry ever since. And Midwest Basement Tech even guarantees it.
Don't miss another second of your favorite game because of basement or crawl space problems. Call Midwest Basement Tech at 1-800-848-9805 or visit us on the web at midwestbasementtech.com for money-saving coupons. You don't have to live with leaks, cracks, and mold in your basement. We work year-round and our estimates are free. Does your home's foundation have bowed or cracked walls? This could be a sign of foundation failure. Call now for a free expert analysis of your home's foundation problems. Serving both sides of the river, call us at 800-848-9805 for your local service tech or on the web at midwestbasementtech.com.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
I believe the first person who should be impeached is Alejandro Mayorkas, the Secretary of Homeland Security, because the chaos at our southern border, it is utter and blatant lawlessness. And 4.5 million people have crossed illegally under Joe Biden. It is a disaster. I spend a lot of time at our southern border, and I think Mayorkas will be impeached.
So there you have Ted Cruz talking about the immigration crisis that we have in this country, the complete and total lack of concern by the, what did they call it, a migration surge? I think that's what Karine Jean-Pierre is referring to, the situation at the southern border. It's jaw-dropping. When you get down to the numbers of what is happening to this country, the infiltration of people, it is absolutely jaw-dropping, and we wanted to speak to an expert about those numbers specifically and what America needs to do immediately in order to rectify this situation. Let's speak with Tom Homan. He is the former acting director of ICE, and he is with us here right now. Tom, thank you for being on with us today. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Well, thanks for having me.
When you see these reports come out, especially the one here recently, and you realize the gravity of what's going on, you know that in a context that most Americans don't understand. Give us a picture of what you've observed with the statistics as they've come out in what kind of situation America is sitting in today.
Well, first of all, I called for Alejandro Mayorkas' impeachment in December last year because when the numbers got released, there's 1.7 million encounters. That's a record for the history of this nation, and it was done on purpose. It wasn't mismanagement. It wasn't, incompetence. This is open borders. Secretary Mayorkas hasn't done a single thing to slow the flow. All he's done is send more resources to the border to process quicker and release quicker, which only brings more. So, look, the numbers speak for themselves. 1.7 last year was historic numbers. They beat it this year by a million numbers. They reported 2.4. It's actually 2.7 because they didn't add the port of entry cases. So it's 2.7 this year, a million more than last year, which is record-setting. So we got record-setting numbers, which is by far nothing ever close in my lifetime. And people need to understand it's just not an immigration issue anymore. When you got 2.7 million encounters in 1 year, that overwhelms the Border Patrol. And that's why 70% of the agents are no longer on the line. They're in processing centers, making hospital runs, making pharmacy runs, taking people to the airport and daycare centers. That's what's happening. And when you have 70% of border agents off the line, that's when the drugs come across that killed over 100,000 Americans. That's when the known and suspected terrorists came across because the border's vulnerable. So this open borders that they planned to happen on purpose has created a national security crisis, a public safety crisis, and a public health crisis. Because we got to remember, they've also arrested 113 known and suspected terrorists since Joe Biden has been in office. 113 known and suspected terrorists. Now, we got over 1 million illegal crossings that weren't caught. And these are a known number. They're on video, they're on drone traffic, they're on sensor traffic. Over 1 million people crossed the border, weren't arrested, and got into the country. So if they've arrested 113 known suspected terrorists, how many of the 1 million are known suspected terrorists across that border?
Yeah, you got to think we're not batting 1,000 on getting every suspected terrorist as they openly walk into our country. I mean, people will say that we need a wall. We don't need a wall. The idea that the wall exists in part of the country, that it didn't get finished, and it was paid for. There are different things that have been implemented over time, and they all have their own ability to be effective. What have you seen in your time that has worked to curb the problem that we have on our southern border?
Well, first of all, walls work. People need to understand that. The White House won't admit it. Secretary won't admit it. But every place they build a border barrier, illegal immigration has decreased. Illegal drug flow has decreased. Where is this 2.7 million coming from this year? Well, there's not a wall. People just got to look at the data. So walls work. What also works is the Remain in Mexico program that President Trump implemented. That worked. That was a game changer. So people want to come and claim asylum. They can claim asylum. They just have to wait in Mexico for their hearing. And that proved the most effective policy ever. In addition to that, you had the third safe country agreements, where if you're claiming fear and asylum from El Salvador, from your home government, and you get to Mexico, did you not escape that fear and persecution? You're no longer in that country. Your home government can't affect you anymore. So you should claim asylum in the first free country you come to. But they don't. Because it's not about asylum. It's about getting the United States. And here's what people need to understand. The media keeps saying asylum seekers. They have a right to claim asylum. Let's set one thing clear. Technically, they're asylum seekers. But if you look at the data, the immigration court data, 9 out of 10, actually 8.7, 9 out of 10 people cross the southern border claim asylum never get relief from the U.S. courts because they either don't qualify or they don't show up in court. So they can call them asylum seekers all they want. 9 out of 10 don't qualify. And 9 out of 10 get order removed by the immigration judge. But the reason they're not detaining any of these people and they're releasing them because the Homeland Security Life Cycle Report says if you're in a detention bed, you get order removal, you're removed 99% of the time. If you're not in detention, you only get removed 6% of the time. So that's why they're not detaining them. So people need to understand, when you hear the term asylum seekers, yeah, technically they're asylum seekers, but understand, 90% of that's fraud. They don't qualify. They don't qualify, but they know they get released in the United States and don't show them in court, and they're here.
Tom Homan joining us right now. He's the former acting director of the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, most commonly known as ICE. He is a Heritage Visiting Fellow as well. Here's a Fox News report from Tuesday. Data obtained and analyzed by the Transactional Records Access Clearinghouse, TRAC, at Syracuse University found that 63,586 cases were dismissed in fiscal year 2022 at the end of September because officials, mainly Border Patrol agents, are not filing the notice to appear in time. So people their cases are completely dismissed because we aren't getting the documents filed. How is it that these Border Patrol agents can't accommodate this paperwork and administrative duty that would, in theory, have them come back to trial and have us be able to deal with them?
Two reasons. Number one, they're just overwhelmed. You're talking about 2.7 million encounters last year for the Border Patrol. They're down over 4,000 agents because they just are quitting and retiring because of what's going on. And this administration is the cause for those cases not being filed because the focus right now on the Border Patrol, and I've talked to hundreds of them, is to process as quick as you can, release as quick as you can. So they don't have time to file the NTAs because if there's overcrowding, what the Secretary's demanding, you process and release as quickly as possible because we can't have overcrowding. Because if we have overcrowded facilities, that's a bad optic. I can't keep going around saying the border's secure and there's no crisis and the border's closed if Fox News has pictures of 15,000 Haitians under a bridge. So that their main focus is about processing quickly, release quickly, so they don't have the optics of a crisis. So that's what's happening. And then it isn't the fault of the men and women of the Border Patrol. They're being they're being forced to process quickly. And they're being forced to process so quickly, not only they're not filing the NTAs in time, but they're releasing people before the vetting comes back. I talked to 2 Border Patrol intel officers that told me they have 2 different situations that they're aware of where they had to release so quickly the vetting didn't come back on 2 different individuals. And 2 days later, they get back from the FBI that those 2 people are hot on the screening database. But because they were forced to release them, they released in the United States. Where the hell are these 2 people now? We don't know. So once again, this is a fault of administration pushing for quick early release, which just screws up the entire system. If they're actually put in an ICE detention bed, like they should be, then ICE could file the NTA. But since we're releasing them, ICE never sees them.
It's so frustrating to hear. We're speaking with Tom Homan. I got one last question for you, because it seems as though this is an immediate crisis, of course, and painting this picture of what these individuals are dealing with there on the southern border on a minute-by-minute basis is horrifying to think about. But, Tom, I bet you've probably thought what this is going to look like 5 years down the road, 10, 20, 30 years down the road in this country due to the abdication of duty that this administration has shown in their responsibility to keep our sovereign border secure. What do you see happening down the road if these policies aren't immediately changed?
Look, based on the numbers we're seeing right now, there's going to be over 10 million people across the country illegally. They're going to be in the United States illegally. And they're just, even though 90% lose their case, they're just going to stay here, be in hiding, and wait for the next amnesty to roll around. Because this country has shown over and over again, even if you get order removed, if you can hide out long enough, we're going to give you something. We'll give another amnesty. That's the plan for the Democrats. So, look, I think if Republican takes back the White House, we can secure the border. We did it before. We just dust off the Trump policies and do it again. But the problem is now you got all these millions of people in the United States adding to the already 20 million here. You're never going to be able to find them all and remove them. And so they're causing this. What's happening right now on the border is the biggest national security failure we've seen since 9/11.
Tom Homan, thank you for your time today. We appreciate your insight on this, and we're going to keep it a top issue here on the Annie Frey Show. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Former acting director of the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Heritage Visiting Fellow as well, heritage.org for more information on Tom Homan. Let's take a quick break. We're going to get the whole crew back in here shortly. We've got an important YouTube live chat poll, and I'm not even going to read it to you right now because I don't want you to know about it. Maybe we'll talk about it when we come back. I mean, you can go to the YouTube channel and see it, but I'm afraid. I have fear. Annie Frey YouTube channel, if you want to check it out, we'll discuss it when we come back here on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
You buy 100 pounds of yeast, stands a copper line. Everybody knew that it made money shine.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel vPro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
When a cold comes on strong, knock it out with Vicks DayQuil Severe for max strength daytime relief. Just one dose of Vicks DayQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms to help take you from 9 to none. Power through your day with Vicks DayQuil Severe, the daytime non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, 9 to none medicine. Use as directed.
So one of the things I love the most about working with Vitae Foundation and supporting the Vitae Foundation is how their work is never stopping. And also the key here is how much it involves you. A simple donation at adsforlife.org. That's ads, ADS, for life.org. When you visit their website, you can learn about what Vitae Foundation is doing to help support women. It's so important to understand how they wrap their arms around these women who may be considering abortion in their circumstances, whatever their circumstances may be, to help set them up with places that are going to care for them, that are going to provide for them, that are going to help them through the entire pregnancy and even after the baby is born. That matters too. Vitae Foundation is a reliable source, a trustful source that you can partner with to make a difference in the lives of women around the St. Louis area and beyond. Please consider going to adsforlife.org and making a donation, a simple donation, $9.71. That's the one I always like to ask for you to go make to reach these women in their time of need. You can be an angel to somebody by going and being a donor at adsforlife.org. I'll be speaking tonight with Abby Johnson at their St. Charles event. They do different events throughout the entire year. You can see what events are coming up as well. All the details online, adsforlife.org.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at ThrottleNet. These are the genius IT guys that I've been representing for years and years now. We are number one all the time. Best in customer service from Small Business Monthly. Best in cybersecurity, again, Small Business Monthly. We have an average response time. I love this statistic. The average response time in St. Louis in 2020 by IT companies. You have a problem, you reach out to them, hey, I'm all shut down, help me, was 3 hours. If you got back within 3 hours, you were cool. Ours was 1 minute, 57 seconds, and the guys were very unhappy with that. It takes less than 2 minutes for us to address your problems. Here's a huge thing. We are now offering $500,000 in ransom protection to everyone who uses us. This is part of the deal. You don't pay extra for it. So if you happen to be hit, and you have to pay, we're going to pay it up to $500,000. Now, this shows you how confident we are because no one under our protection has ever had to pay. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS.
Let's talk real estate. The St. Louis market is tricky for home sellers with home values going down and not selling as fast, right? Now is not the time to risk losing precious equity on your home. Hey, it's Mark Cox. That's why I always recommend you call Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty. Gloria's the best. She's experienced every type of market, good and not so good. So before you list your home for sale, call Gloria. Here's why. Gloria Liu will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed to price and time frame, or she'll buy it, guaranteed in writing. She already has the buyers, thousands of them in her database. In fact, your home may already be sold. Gary and Angela called Gloria and sold their home even before it listed because Gloria had several buyers looking for a home in that area. Call Gloria at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
How might this week's big stories impact your portfolio? Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale with Stifel. Join me and fellow Stifel financial advisor Eric Robert during On the Money every Saturday from 11 till noon right here on 97.1 FM Talk. Stifel, member NYSE and SIPC.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for their honor flight today at gslhonorflight.org, and for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
We know you won't hear it all, so we're highlighting as it happens on the socials. Follow 97.1 on Twitter and Facebook and weigh in. They can't ban all of us.
Oh, don't you dare look back, just keep your eyes on me. I said you're holding back. She said shut up and dance with me. This woman is my destiny. She said ooh, shut up and dance with me. We were victims of the night.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Today's YouTube live chat poll is: should we dress Annie up as Abraham Lincoln for our Friday Halloween show? Yes or no? The answer is no.
I disagree, Annie. I think that we should.
I don't really feel sad, but a lot of people are commenting on my face today on the live chat, wanting me to be happier.
Annie's thinking about dressing up like Abraham Lincoln tomorrow is what she's doing.
Yeah, I'm not like sad about it, but Abraham Lincoln, huh? From the land of Lincoln.
It just makes sense.
It does. Do they have the costume?
They do have the costume. I got a text message from Johnny Brox, and they have the costume. They're holding it for us. So myself or Trisha or somebody will go pick that up probably after the show sometime. Maybe tomorrow morning, whatever. We'll have it before the show tomorrow because we know we're going to get more than 255 votes.
I voted. I said yes.
I was just going to say, is there news? Did you come in here to tell us something particularly?
No, I'm just really excited to see you dress up as Abraham Lincoln because I know we will get more than 255 votes on our YouTube poll.
I don't think we will. I don't know that we've ever had that many.
Today we will. Today we will have more than 255. I'm confident. The YouTube poll is my baby, and I know the people will come.
I'm usually excited for Hannah's confidence. A little less right now.
Here's the thing. The people in the poll, in the chat, they like to see Annie get out of her comfort zone. And so they're going to go and they're going to vote and they're going to make it happen.
It's been a consistency all my life. Why is that? I must have a very clearly established comfort zone. And it's shocking that Abraham Lincoln is outside of it.
Well, it's not that Abraham Lincoln is outside of it. Dressing up like Abraham Lincoln, that's different. I mean, you've never had a beard in your life, right?
Right?
I'm glad you think that. The Rover says, why so sad, Annie? I had that face when I got done shopping yesterday. It may take a day. Wow.
Don't you love when people comment on your face?
I'm going to put some red lipstick on. Love you right back. You guys, Hannah's in here.
Listen, I don't comment on people's faces unless it's something positive. And I thought Annie looked lovely today.
Thank you.
She smiled. I've seen her. She's been smiley today.
I'm not particularly upset. Hold on. I'm going to look happy here in a second.
Okay, so right
Poppies?
now we only need just about 100 votes. So we can do it. We still have time.
Hannah,
Insurmountable.
insurmountable. Hannah, what makes a great Abraham Lincoln costume?
Okay, if I'm going to think about a good Abraham Lincoln costume, there's got to be a top hat.
Right.
Got
And
to
not-
be a beard.
Not just like a
Like
tall.
a top hat.
Yeah.
And the beard, the black and white fit. Have you seen Johnny Brock's? Like, have you seen what they're going to...
I haven't seen.
Give?
They haven't sent me a picture of it yet, but they've got it. They pulled it aside for us.
I'm curious.
Here's the thing, and I don't know if I should say this or not, but I'm going to go
that's
for
always
it.
good.
Whenever I message them, they said, what we have is a men's small. So.
Men's small costume. Okay, guys, I refreshed my makeup. I hope I look happier and awake for you now because I am freaking tired. I think that's a problem. I don't think that I'm not sad. I have no sadness. I'm perfectly, pleasantly fine. I mean, in my mind. I don't know what other people think. But my makeup probably didn't. I put it on earlier this morning, and now I have a fresh face on-ish. And hopefully it's suitable for the people on the radio. A men's small costume. To me, costumes, especially for men, you don't make an Abraham Lincoln costume for men be like a fitted suit.
No, I don't think so.
My son is a men's small. And so I can fit in his clothes. Like if he gets
I feel like he's grown so much in the past year.
It's terrible. If I can fit into his clothes, I think I could fit into that. If not, it's going to turn into Babraham Lincoln. Which is not what the poll is about. So I guess maybe that would negate the whole process.
Sean Smith said from YouTube, he said, I'm listening to the radio but pulled over so I could vote yes.
Shame on you, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
Sean,
Thank you.
Sean,
You're the best.
the valued Annie Frey Show watcher and listener.
Yes.
Valued by 3 out of 4 Annie Frey Show cast members.
That's a great ratio.
All right. Guys,
So-
got 7 more minutes. Fill it.
Well,
That's not fair, Annie.
Oh, it's fair.
Oh, okay.
That's Mrs. Lincoln, Mrs. Mr. Lincoln. to
Well-
you. That's President Mrs. Lincoln.
President Mrs.
Mrs. President Lincoln.
should I start reading some comments from the poll? Well, I will. I'm not gonna ask. I'm just gonna do it.
I'm not talking. You can say whatever you want.
Kyle from YouTube, Kyle Schneider said, Annie, it's your show. You signed up for this, so it's an automatic yes.
I do not like that you're right.
Vicky is suggesting Mary Todd Lincoln.
Yeah, give me a big fluffy black dress.
Where's the fun in that? I think more fun make
For who?
Ryan.
For me?
Listen, I think more fun to make Ryan marry Todd Lincoln.
There has been
If we get 300 votes,
Oh, absolutely.
we got to make that happen.
Yeah.
for sure.
I'll do it on my dime if I have to.
Yeah.
There's
Does Amazon Prime overnight Mary Todd Lincoln? How do you even search that?
Okay, Al Johnson from YouTube left a whole stream of comments, and I'll feature them. He first said she would look great as Elsa from Frozen. And then he said Anna and Elsa for Hannah and Annie. And then he said that leaves Olaf and Patty costumes. So, and then he said Wiggins would make a great Olaf. So maybe we could do Frozen next year, because tomorrow Annie will be Abe Lincoln. So that's taken up.
We are far away from that. Yeah, baby, get that. Can you overnight that dress?
I don't think so. But they got different colors.
Can you get it in a men's small?
What size do you think he wears? What would Ryan wear in a women's sizing?
Extra large.
We now have children.
This is that
typing
number
in on the
sizing.
poll.
16.
Oh, they have it in a 16.
How much is it?
It's $39.99.
That's the cost of the dress. Get out of here. You're not concerned. This has nothing to do with
Annie, we
your
now
presence.
have children piping in on the poll.
Children?
Children. Lisa Whitehead from YouTube said, my 9-year-old is off from school today and we're listening. She said, Mom, vote yes. So I did. If the children speak,
I was just
listen.
in the hallway and I heard you say that if we get to a certain plateau, I have to dress up as Mary Todd Lincoln.
300 votes.
What the heck? How do you dress up as Mary Todd Lincoln?
Well,
he said he's going to fund it. He's already got a dress.
You already have it picked out?
Yeah, I found it.
What size women's dress do you wear?
I have no idea.
I just wanted. Really? If you would have gone like, oh, it's a 14, 16, I would have been like,
wow.
I actually am kind of curious now, though.
All right.
No, I should.
More votes are coming in. We're just about to hit 200. We need more than 255 for Annie to dress up as Abraham Lincoln tomorrow. So
Never
keep
happened
heading
before.
to the YouTube. We need more than 255. Not 255. We need more than that. So keep coming.
Do I look happy to you right now?
No. It's really bizarre because you're smiling and laughing and still no.
That
I don't
was
know how
a
you
fearful
pulled that off.
no.
But no. What's it up to? The vote total?
The vote total.
We're not even to 200 votes.
We're at 197.
Oh, that's great.
We're at 197.
We're almost there.
We're getting close.
I don't want to get to 300 now, though.
Mary Todd Lincoln.
Mary Todd.
255 is the plat. Get right
199.
there.
We're almost at 200.
I want Brad to come tomorrow as the arch.
The arch?
The arch.
I don't know. Someone's got to look stupider than me.
That would be great.
How do you
All right, we just hit 200.
As one
So
leg?
The two of you should be
You
the
dress
arch.
up as one leg of
You
it.
should.
and then
The two of you
there's
should be the
other
St. Louis
part
arch.
hanging
Show
off
up in
of
gray sweatpants and gray sweatshirts.
Why is
It's a
Brad-
two-person costume.
Good idea.
He has to stand all day like he's diving into a pool, though.
Hey, I was supposed to be the left. Or wait, no, you be the left. I'll be the right.
It just depends on which side you're standing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you in
Mississippi?
Illinois or are you in Missouri?
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, we're at 206. Come on, people. We need more than 255.
How do we do this quickly? I mean, we have to, by tomorrow, have a full Abraham Lincoln costume.
It's already been procured. This is what producers do.
Yeah,
they
right.
produce.
Kim Monk
Producers
from YouTube
produce.
said, pulled over to vote. Love the show.
Off, people.
Thank you, Kim.
I commend you for making a good driving decision and not doing this while you're driving. You know all the people who are voting right now who are like, I didn't pull over. Pull over. No, and better yet, don't.
Pull over and vote.
Can we come up with plateaus for 315, 330 for Brad and Hannah? Do we have this figured out?
We're not going to get to over 255. It's not even a worry about.
Yes, we are. We're going to do that maybe by the end of this hour.
Maybe.
5 minutes?
You have to dance every time a new vote comes in.
No, no. No. I'm
Flop
telling
the
you what.
arms for each vote.
I was
been
tired
done.
at the end of that last one.
Trudy Schneider says, I need to see Ryan in a dress.
That's a request.
I don't know that that's ever happened. Actually, oh, no, that did happen when I was a kid.
Wait a
All
second.
right, we're at 218. Getting
Brad,
closer. We need 255.
Reach out to Johnny Brox and ask them if they have anything that would qualify
I will do that right
as
now.
a black poofy. I mean, because I'm thinking like there's got to be some sort of like New Orleans style 20s kind of
I think she
poofy
was
dress.
pre-20s, but
Glenn Johnson from YouTube. Yep,
1820s.
pulled over to vote, and that's a yes. Thank you, Glenn Johnson, for being a good driver and a good fanny. Thank you.
Also, I'm talking about 20s style in general. Like you have your flapper kind of a thing, but you have like
just
some more
old-fashioned
frilly
dress.
looking. And so I wasn't speaking of the historical 20s and their correlation to the Lincolns. Although I think she would have been
238. Getting
She might have been born in the
closer.
1820s.
Yeah, that's probably
240.
right about when she was born.
Tomorrow we will give you a book report on Mary Todd
Oh,
Lincoln.
I want to know everything about her.
And it will 1818.
Wow.
She was alive for all of the 20s.
We were close.
You better study up because we're getting some votes.
Okay. Give me a soundtrack.
Currently at 243. We need more than 255.
Time to go to break. All right, let's go. When we come back, we're going to talk about trolls, though. what is a troll, what defines a troll, and we will all discuss amongst ourselves exactly what trolls we have experienced and how we have dealt with them, because we have, of course, had to deal with them. Kind of in conjunction, too. You could almost tie in Jeff Albert of the St. Louis Cardinals. He kind of talked about this social media pressure behind getting blame and getting credit for the St. Louis Cardinals hitting, and that was kind of part of the reason why he didn't want to come back and do it anymore. So they do have an effect. We have experienced it here ourselves, and so when we come back, let's talk about that. See, we're not going to get there. There's only 252 votes.
254. We need one more.
No, it's got to be over 255.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Attention! Did you or a loved one live at or near Marine Base Camp Lejeune in North Carolina between 1953 and 1987? If so, listen closely for this important legal announcement. From 1953 to 1987, Marines and their family members at Camp Lejeune drank water that was contaminated with hazardous toxins. The toxins found in the water at Camp Lejeune may cause health issues, especially later in life. Types of health issues associated with water at Camp Lejeune are numerous. If you or a loved one lived near Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation without going to court. Even if you were turned down in the past, a new law can allow you to file a claim today. If you or a loved one spent time near Camp Lejeune, call the Negligence Network to find out if you're eligible for financial compensation. There's no fee unless we win your case. Call 1-800-600-5536. That's 1-800-600-5536. 1-800-600-5536.
KFTK FM Florissant.
Driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group.
97.1 FM Talk.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A mixed picture for the U.S. economy. Lisa Brady, Fox News. Treasury Chief Janet Yellen says there's evidence of a healthy slowdown in a new report showing economic growth and that she still does not expect a recession. The gross domestic product rebounding in the third quarter with 2.6% growth after shrinking for 2 quarters.
The 2.6% was made up almost entirely by increased exports and government spending. And economists think that that will drop off in the fourth quarter. And also consumer spending is slowing down, and that constitutes up to 70% of the U.S. economy. So it is a warning sign there.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House, which is focusing on the positive.
The president saying in a statement, today's data shows that in the third quarter, Americans' incomes were up and price increases in the economy came down.
He's also been saying Republicans would make inflation worse and would slash Social Security and Medicare.
In the commitment to America, we say to save and strengthen Social Security and Medicare.
House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy says Democrats are lying because they can't run on their record. Russia's president had a lot to say at a forum in Russia today.
Russian President Vladimir Putin using that gathering about Moscow-based think tank to blast the U.S. and the West for, frankly, all the troubles in the region and the world, calling the next decade the most dangerous since World War II. Putin again repeating the unsupported claim that Ukraine is ready to set off a radioactive dirty bomb. The fear is Moscow will. Another Russian official today even claiming that country could knock U.S. satellites out of the sky because they are helping Ukraine.
Fox's Greg Palcott in Kyiv, where rolling blackouts continue as Russia attacks Ukraine's energy grid. The White House warning any attack on U.S. infrastructure, in this case meaning the satellites, would be met with an appropriate response. America is listening to Fox News.
You've got advanced prostate cancer, but you're not waiting around. You want straight talk, the facts about a Govix.
Orgovix Relagolix 120 milligram prescription tablets is a treatment for adults with advanced prostate cancer. Fact: Orgovix is a different kind of androgen deprivation therapy treatment, a pill, not an injection. Orgovix may cause serious side effects, including a heart condition called QT prolongation. Tell your doctor right away if you feel dizzy, faint, have a racing or pounding heart, or chest pain. Orgovix can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during treatment and for 2 weeks after Orgovix treatment. The most common side effects include hot flushes, increased blood sugar and blood fat levels, muscle and joint pain, decreased blood hemoglobin levels, increased liver enzymes, tiredness, constipation, and diarrhea. Other side effects include weight gain, decreased sex drive, and erectile function problems. Orgovix may cause infertility. Talk to your doctor if infertility is a concern for you.
Go with Orgovix. Ask your doctor. For more facts, visit gowiththefacts.com.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Tons of sunshine this afternoon. Cool but near average temperatures. Light winds for a change. 62 this afternoon. Tonight, a few clouds around in the 50s this evening. Cold overnight, 38. Friday, partly to mostly sunny, 62. Saturday, partly sunny, 65. Just a tiny chance of a sprinkle Saturday afternoon. But count on some light rain showers Saturday night and Sunday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This is a great time of the year to upgrade the energy efficiency in your home with my friends at Window World. Mark Cox here to tell you more about my experience with Window World. They replaced a couple of windows at my house. They were just panes of glass. We wanted to be able to get some airflow into the master bathroom. They came out, they gave us a free estimate, and then had the windows at seams installed in no time. Very professional, lifetime warranty I get, and you get an extra double strength glass on their replacement windows that's not common. So you're getting a great price, simply the best for less. They do front entry doors, rear entry doors if you're looking to replace that back door or sliding glass door in your home. They've got a great selection at Window World. They're also right now offering 18 months, same as cash financing, of course, with approved credit. The preferred window of the St. Louis Blues. 314-993-1800. windowworld.com.
Hey, Ed Brock, everybody. If you love Halloween like I do yourself a favor and visit Johnny Brock's Dungeon. Why shop those tiny pop-up shops when you can shop 30,000 square feet of locally owned Halloween fun? We're open all year at I-44 in Jefferson on the edge of Soulard. Johnny Brock's Dungeon, a St. Louis must-see.
Fun in the sun is no fun at all without sunscreen. Just like reapplying sunscreen helps continue protection against the sun, a booster shot can help enhance protection against COVID-19 after a primary series vaccination. Schedule a booster appointment when eligible. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
We're all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. After Halloween, your used jack-o'-lantern and other gourds are great additions to any compost pile. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
Big ideas, real debate, solid entertainment. You found it here.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
All right. Fine. We'll do it. I'll do it. Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. If you don't have any idea what I'm talking about, we have achieved 296 votes on today's YouTube
And
live
climbing.
chat poll. And
stopping right there.
if I said that if we got over 255 votes, I would in fact follow through on today's YouTube live chat poll, which is, should we dress Annie up as Abraham Lincoln for our Friday Halloween show? And we have 296.
So that's done.
The development that has occurred live on the show is if we get over 300 votes on this, Ryan will dress up as Mary Todd Lincoln.
For the record, I had no say in this. It was just determined in the middle of the last segment that I would be Mary Todd Lincoln.
Ryan, 98% of what you do on the show is determined for you.
Yes, I understand that. And I'm going to do it.
I know.
I'm just a little surprised
298
that it was Mary Todd Lincoln. Because we
See
had
that
talked.
coming? You should have seen that coming.
No, because we had talked
300.
about.
There it
There it is.
Oh, dress for you,
I
Mary
don't know
Todd.
how to do this. You have to do this for me because I don't know what in the world.
We'll
how do
dress
I
you.
dress up as Mary Todd Lincoln?
So we've thought we would add a new layer to this, a new little wrinkle to this. And we thought, well, let's have the Annie Frey show be great Republicans and Mary Todd Lincoln.
and their spouses. So that means Brad would have to be.
No. How many do we have to get to, Hannah? It's your number, 350? We've been going by
350
50s.
is fine, Hannah. Just say that.
It's got to be 352. And
Nice round number.
I am speechless.
And
Okay.
Hannah is going to dress up as Donald Trump. Hannah's going to be Donald Trump. And on the radio show, you can't wear masks. So
right.
she's going to have to present herself as Donald Trump.
She
I don't
presents
have
rather
words.
Trumpian anyway.
Okay, that's what it is now.
You agree?
Over 350 votes. I will
352
for no reason.
Okay, 352. I will dress up fully as Donald Trump. Here we go.
Great. This is really going to be good. I'm looking forward to that more than even mine.
So,
well, I don't know why I would look forward to mine anyway.
And we get over 400, then Brad is Melania.
Oh!
Yes.
And then we just go as the Trumps and the Lincolns.
Trumps and the Lincolns. Melania.
Oh man.
How do you dress up as Melania?
I don't know. I don't know if I can even
Glamorous.
pull
You gotta
that
get rid
off.
of the beard.
Yeah.
First of all,
The
give
beard
that
would have to go.
to Annie.
All right.
This sucks.
I have
We're
to
at
get that I don't
302.
care, do you, jacket.
303. Oh my gosh,
Annie,
we're climbing.
You're getting
climbing.
the best deal out of anybody now.
I am getting the best deal?
Yeah, at
Why?
first we were all like, we're going to pile on Annie. And then you made up all these new things.
You see how I did that?
Yes, I do. Mm-hmm. You really have probably the easiest costume of all of us.
It was
now.
almost like I trolled you.
It was almost as if you
Trolls.
segued us right into something else.
Oh, here we go talking about it again. You're such a radio professional that when anybody does anything that's professionally radio centered, he explains it.
I'm also very impressed by it live.
I know.
When it happens, like, wow.
Like I do it. I've done it like 6 times, and you've had to talk about it each time.
Wow, that was really good.
In my career, 6 segues the whole time.
Yeah. And it's always so impressive to me that I got to just acknowledge it in the moment.
Which actually derails the beauty of the segue from what you were talking about to what you are talking about.
Yeah, I'll allow for that. That's very true, and I want to apologize to you publicly for that. Because it's a when a thing of such beauty comes along, I just feel like I need to stop. You know, like when you're walking through a park at 72 degrees, and you just look up and you're like, wow, creation is beautiful. That's the way I feel about a good segue.
Ryan.
And so I need to acknowledge it at times, even though the acknowledgement ruins it.
You come in like a wrecking ball, which is what a troll would do. We were talking about trolls. You were said, well, we had some people in our YouTube live chat. We do daily, I would say, have people who are what I would refer to as regulars. If they walked in the room, we might all go, Norm, at the same time. It's the people who come here on a regular basis. And then it broadens based on the topic that we're discussing each day. But we're also on social media, and we also get emails from listeners, and we also get, DMs or private messages to the Facebook page. We're in a lot of different places. Yeah, Todd. Exactly. Todd.
Yep.
Todd.
It's just a weird inside joke. But the question is, what is a troll, first and foremost? And secondly, how do we each individually react to trolls? Brad, you're like the most level-headed guy in this room.
There's only 2 guys in the
I
room.
meant that person. And I got halfway down, and I was like, yeah, I'll say the whole sentence.
Not a thing of beauty. That would be a day where I would be walking through the park and just looking down.
Brad is what?
Using my own metaphor.
It doesn't make sense. Brad, you're a level-headed, objective dude. When you are thinking about the definition of a troll, not your personal experience of it. What constitutes a troll?
So to me, a troll is somebody that is there. They're there to cause trouble. They don't really have any end goal other than to cause grief and disruption in whatever you're doing. Troll would knock over your chessboard if you're playing chess against somebody. They just come in and be like, you should have moved here, and then and knock everything over.
I would have said puzzle, but Brad's a chess guy.
Well, you said I was the most level-headed guy here. I get that way by playing chess a lot.
What?
Oh, yeah. I crush you in chess, Ryan. Let's do this.
Wait. Now now we're talking about something else.
No, we're talking about
trolls.
trolls
You and I
still.
have to have a chess battle. And I'm up for that. I'm completely up for that.
But only if it's Mary Todd Lincoln plays
Versus
Melania Trump.
in chess.
If somebody can give us some really good, very dramatic lighting, that would be an incredible picture. Somehow, Mary Todd Lincoln has traveled through time.
Anyway.
To play Melania Trump.
Anyway.
You said the person is there to cause grief.
Just cause just general disruption and trouble and, not necessarily harmful, but just annoying and not in good faith.
Anything to add or to modify?
To me, a troll is somebody who has a ton of warts, a torch, and
Hannah?
They live under a bridge.
A bridge, yes.
Okay. No.
Somebody who's mean.
I agree with Brad. I agree with
hate
Brad.
that he's trolling me right now. I hate it. It's so meta. It's happening right now in the freaking segment.
It doesn't get any more Wiggins than
Oh
that.
my gosh. It just...
Yep. It's somebody who's very, very mean all the time.
Are we being serious now?
I am being serious.
Okay.
And also, they guard bridges.
Sometimes.
At times, maybe they're just a toll booth operator.
They're a troll booth operator.
In Chicago.
Probably.
Anytime I give them my change when I drive through those things. There you go, troll.
Yeah. So what would you say, Hannah? What's a troll?
I would say a troll is someone who purposely stays or goes into a chat or whatever and I feel like they just stay there even when they know it's something they're against. And they comment and speak and disagree purposely to argue, not to learn anything, just to argue. That is a troll.
So I think that you guys have really hit on it. And I think what Brad said about causing grief is important. I think that the way that I see it in my experience of having a troll here and there, generally speaking, they are nothing that they bring to the table has anything to do with what's going on at the same time. The message is always the same. Every time they insert themselves into the situation, it's for one purpose only. And that purpose can vary based on who the troll is, what the topic is. Because, there's going to be people, there are going to be Cardinals fans that troll Cubs fans. There are going to be Cubs fans that troll Cardinals fans. And that's at the end of the day, nothing of consequence. It's a hobby. It's entertainment. It is what it is. So you're going to have Republicans who troll Democrats who troll Republicans. But when you come to the table, you have the same card that you play every time. And you think no matter what is Trump, lowercase t Trump, playing cards, whatever's Trump, you always feel like you have the ace of Trump. And you come in and you play it. And you think that this is how I'm going to put my fingerprint on that person's day. That this person is going to see me and acknowledge me in one way, shape, or the other. And the bigger the acknowledgement, the better the troll. That's how, as a verb. To be able to insert yourself into somebody else's life, and the whole point, the whole outcome that you're trying to achieve is to know that you made an imprint on that person's day. And then the question is, how big of an imprint can I make it?
I think that's a definition of a troll. But what about somebody, and I'm saying this because this is people I've had follow me on Twitter as well. Somebody who just is there to disagree with you no matter what you say. And it's sometimes thoughtful, a lot of times it's not, but there's no reciprocation at all.
It's the
What do you mean no reciprocation?
They're never going to talk with you about trying, hey, I disagree with you. That's fine. You can disagree with me all day. I actually enjoy when people get on there and disagree because it sharpens me.
Mm-hmm.
But if the point of what you're doing is not to debate a topic or even bring a different point. It's just to disagree. There's not, you don't really have a stance other than whatever you're saying, I'm against it.
It's the bad faith attitude in that argument or
Yes.
that disagreement. So I don't know that they necessarily, I wouldn't say they would have to have the same trump card, but I think that they have a same strategy. So they're always coming in, like Ryan says, to look to disagree. My experience has been they never take a solid other stance so that you can counterpoint what they're saying. Their questions always come back like they come off as a little bit smug. There's always a different, it's like trying to nail Jell-O to the wall. They don't have a solid stance, and they do that intentionally so that you can't counterpoint their point. And they want to try to maintain burden of proof. So they want to make sure that they're always asking you the questions like, well, what about this and this and this? And they never take a solid stance on it. And they jump into somebody's thing and they, say this aloof but stinging comment.
So, Ryan, what trolls do you have? Where are they and how do they manifest?
Mainly Twitter and mainly in, I would say I have just a couple that follow me intentionally to disagree with me. And I usually don't mute them because I actually value the pushback, but sometimes it becomes too much because it's every little thing. It's not even something that matters they're disagreeing with. On the other hand, I will also disagree with other people on Twitter and make points that sometimes they probably seem a little trolly because I use comedy to do it or sarcasm to do it. But then if they engage with me, I'll actually talk about it. And I don't get that. When you cross over into troll, you get to the point where the people, they don't really want to debate. They just want to sting and move.
Yeah, they want to ruin your day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, it's
like
the whole...
the idea of coming in, as Brad said, causing grief. And what I added to that is like if they get to know that they impacted your day, then they feel good about themselves. If they get to feel like they impacted it in a large way, then they really feel good about themselves. And it's like cocaine. You just like you get addicted to it and they can't stop. It's the high that they go back for over and over and over again. And I don't know. It's the world I live in, so maybe this is just a subjective statement, but I don't know what causes people to troll more than politics.
Yeah. I mean, I like if you were comparing things, you said the Cubs and Cardinals. Mm-hmm. I do that. I troll Cubs fans, but it's never the same.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's ribbing, kind of elbowing them in the side, send them the gif of the L flag flying when their team loses or something. Or whenever the
would you do that to a random Cubs fan on Twitter?
No, it's usually they have to start something first. I will jump in.
Because that would make you the troll.
Right. I will jump in, like, I'll give you an example. The Brewers, the organization earlier this year tweeted out about how they couldn't hear us from way back in the pack. And then it wasn't too long after that the Cardinals went on the run past them. And I just, every time I got an opportunity, I would just drop in and was like, can you hear us now? Mm-hmm. Oh, man, I'm losing you in my rearview mirror. Do you need us to slow down? Stuff like that. But that was like the Milwaukee Brewers official Twitter account, but say something stupid initially and then maybe I'll troll you. Say something to somebody that I like or a friend of mine on Twitter and I'll go after you and that, but I'm not an initial troller.
Well, you'll find out how when we come back, I discover that I have trolls and it has to do with Brad. So stick around for that. We have the update right now on the total votes. We are at 334 votes. And if we get to 352 votes, I will dress and am dressing as Abraham Lincoln tomorrow. We've got Ryan will be Mary Todd Lincoln. And if we get to 352, Hannah will come as one Donald Trump. So I don't know why you people are voting for this. I don't understand it at all. Let's take a quick break. We'll see how many votes we have when we come back. And I'll tell you about my trolls in just a minute. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. If you're a fan of 97.1, get a t-shirt. Visit 971talk.com/merch to see all the new t-shirt designs and show your support for St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
The very best realtor on the Illinois side of the river, buying and selling homes. It's simple. It's Jen Teskey with RE/MAX Alliance. Many people who work with RE/MAX Alliance, they're very reputable, and Jen Teskey is a gem. You need to book her right now. 618-541-1010. That's 618-541-1010. You can call Jen. You can text Jen and ask her about the sellability of your home. If you know that you want to sell it and sell it fast, get with Jen, 618-541-1010, and get the process started. But she also works with people who are looking to list maybe in 6 months or so, maybe in 12 months. You know that you're going to have to sell your home in the future, but it's not quite time yet. What are the things you need to do to sell that home for top dollar? What are things that would be a waste of money should you choose to invest in them now? Jen will come in and she'll say, do this, do not spend money on that. With her team behind her, you are going to have the best possible experience when it comes to buying and selling real estate on the Illinois side of the river. Call my friend with RE/MAX Alliance, Jen Teskey, at 618-541-1010. That's 618-541-1010.
From abortion to inflation, the issues in our local elections have far-reaching implications. We're breaking these issues down on The Home Stretch, Odyssey's new original podcast. I'm Doug Sovereign. Each week I'll talk to a range of experts to give you a no-fuss 15-minute download of the most pressing issues on this year's ballots. Listen to The Home Stretch on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
It's ridiculous over here in Illinois. It really is.
How much worse does it have to get?
So expensive nowadays. I wait to the last minute, hoping that the prices will go down.
How much longer can you wait for relief? Governor Pritzker's doubling of the state's gas tax gave Illinois some of the highest gas prices in the nation. Yet the potholes in Chicago could swallow a CTA bus. Now Pritzker is forcing businesses to lie to their customers for his benefit.
Only thing Illinois is doing is delaying a gas tax increase and calling that a tax cut.
In Illinois, you have to sue to be able to tell the truth.
Gas station owners in Illinois are suing the state over a new law they claim violates their free speech rights.
How much longer will you be made to play the fool? In the last 4 years, Pritzker added another $2,165 to the tax burden Illinois families shoulder, which was already the highest in the nation. How much more of Pritzker can you afford? How much worse does it have to get before you make a change? Paid for by people who play by the rules, PAC.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is without any inspections or need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-782-8000 or at chrisbuyshomeStLouis.com and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay their rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. And check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis or call 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And get the offer you have been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in stlouis.com. Chris Buys Homes in stlouis.com or call 314-782-8000.
Get your car at your price at Bomarito. Shop thousands of new vehicles at our state-of-the-art sales and service facility. Our product specialists will make your experience quick and easy. Or just browse, view, and buy 100% online with Bomarito Fast Pass. Let's get more for your trade and the Bomarito nationwide warranty. 10 years, 200,000 miles. A better experience, a better price. Go with the automotive leader, Bomarito. Missouri's #1 automotive group. Open 24/7 at Bomarito.com.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Great clouds all over the hills, bringing darkness from above. But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel
Okay. So, welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Tomorrow is going to be our Halloween show. Halloween is on Monday. My family always trick-or-treats the night before Halloween. And
is that an Illinois thing?
It's more specific to like Madison County, certain areas of Madison County. Not everybody does it. I like it because Halloween night, there's a big parade in Edwardsville. Alton, I believe, has a big Halloween parade. So people go to the parade on Halloween night. You trick-or-treat the night before. You get 2 nights of fun. A conversation for tomorrow, we'll discuss this, is should Halloween be observed on the weekend? I'm a big yes vote on that. You can do Halloween proper on the 31st. Yes, okay, fine. But I really wish for parents, oh my gosh, it'd be so much easier if you didn't have to haul your butt home and try to get all that stuff done in the amount of time you need between work and getting kids ready so you can get them out and get them trick-or-treating, and they're eating candy, and they're like, okay, go to bed now. Like, what? You're going to school tomorrow. Are you kidding me? So I'm a fan of that. We'll discuss that more tomorrow. But the question is, were we going to dress up for the show tomorrow? Last year, I don't remember what the goal was, but whatever it was, y'all made it, and you all achieved the goal. And so I dressed up as a giraffe because these doofuses picked out a giraffe costume for me. But I did it. I made good on that offer. And so today we got over 255 votes on the YouTube live chat poll, which is, should Andy dress up as Abraham Lincoln for our Friday Halloween show? Yes or no? You fools have voted yes resoundly so. So, Brad, you've secured an Abraham Lincoln costume.
I've secured an Abraham Lincoln costume.
From Johnny Brox.
I'm working on a Mary Todd Lincoln costume.
Which...
If we got to 300 votes on the poll, Ryan agreed, and it was actually his idea to dress up as
today's Thursday. We have a Wednesday meeting where this did not come up yesterday afternoon.
Yes, it did.
But then during the show, somehow it was, now Ryan's going to dress up as Mary Todd Lincoln when Ryan's not in the room.
So he thought it'd be cool if he could dress up as Mary Todd Lincoln.
Yeah,
if we got over 300 votes, which we did, and then we said if we get to over 300, if we get 352 votes, Hannah said she would dress up as Donald Trump. And now if we get to 400 votes, how many do we have total right now?
Right now we have exactly 352 votes.
Yay!
I see 357 on mine.
You do?
Yes.
Dang it.
357. If we get to 400, we will complete the double date, and Brad will go as Melania Trump in studio tomorrow.
I think if we get to half of that, like say 375, you should have to halfway dress up as Melania
That's
Trump.
way harder than full dressing up as Melania Trump.
Okay, yep. Right now I see 357, and we need how much?
400.
400.
Go to youtube.com/@AnnieFry.
Run this clock out.
Go to youtube.com/@Annie Frey, or just search Annie Frey, F-R-E-Y, in YouTube. Subscribe to the channel while you're there and vote. And we'll see if we can get Brad dressed up as Melania tomorrow. We were talking about trolls. We're talking about what it means to be a troll. We have people who come into our chat every day. They dissent. We have regulars who dissent on our chat every day. I have people who comment on different things on our social media who dissent on a regular basis. My opinion is, if you're talking about the issue at hand and you are consistently disagreeing with our position on it, that's not a troll. You just think differently and you're expressing yourself. As long as you're not insulting me or anybody who's associated, like having an ad hominem direct attack, I have no problems with that. And I also have problems when people are on my side of the issue and using kind of baseless attacks to insult somebody on their appearance or something that's not about the issue at hand. I have on Twitter a lot of people over the course of time that I've amassed who do pick at me on a regular basis, but I just mute them. Like the first time that I am aware that they're consistently just there to try to make me have a less good day, I just mute them and I never see them again until people like Brad can't help themselves and then they go reply to the replies on my tweets. And I realized here recently there are some really dedicated people out there to trying to paint me into a corner. But I'm here to tell you, I don't read your tweets. I don't see them. You're not. I mean, stay right where you are, folks. Stay right there, hanging on the every character in my tweets. That's funny.
Oh man,
very funny to me. But until Brad or another listener responds to you and you have these conversations, I just don't know they exist. And it has made a wonderful world of difference of my experience using Twitter.
Isn't attitude a part of it too? somebody who is disagreeing with you is fine, but if they're just being mean, doesn't that play into it? Like, it just kind of wears you out if they're just being mean, even if they're trying to make a good point. Because that bothers me. I'm perfectly fine discussing things, but if you're just being a jerk, but you're making good points, you're right on that line for me.
How can you just be a jerk and make good points?
Well, if you're using like deep biting sarcasm, but you're making a good point, but that's all you do, at some point you got to be like, there's an actual person here. Maybe you could try discussing at some point with them, but I still usually I'm very slow to mute or block somebody.
I don't block anybody. I just mute you.
Yeah.
I
block everybody.
I am thoroughly enjoying the thought of these people sitting out there replying to my tweets and waiting for me to respond. And I'm just really here to tell you I don't see them. I don't know that it's happening. And, like, what arguments or disagreements have you solved on Twitter?
I've really been able to silence the Socialist Party of America pretty well.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
They would post some stuff, and I'd start to ask them questions, like legitimately. And I was doing it with some comedy, but I would ask them questions about why are you thinking that this has never been achieved before? Like, it's the whole, socialism would work, but it has to be this form of socialism. All the ones we've tried in the past, they didn't work. And I was like, you realize that what you're saying is that if your form was to work, everybody would have to agree with you, and you would end up being a dictator. Because
do these people who are trolling you, Ryan, do they ever compliment you? Do they ever agree with you? Do they ever say you make a good point?
People who troll, no. I think that's the line.
So then why don't you mute them?
I'm right there. I don't know.
If you mute them on Twitter, if you're not familiar with Twitter, folks listening in your cars or pulled over on the side of the road while you're voting.
Thank you.
If you are on Twitter, you can click mute on an account. Like I could, if I'm tweeting at Ryan and I'm annoying Ryan, he can just click mute and I just keep tweeting away and keep spewing whatever it is I want to spew, and it doesn't come across his feed at all. So he just doesn't see anything. You can still click on that person's profile and see everything they've tweeted if you want to engage in that, but it just isn't served to you. If you tweet something and they reply 6 times to tell you how big of an idiot you are, you don't see those tweets. They're not there. So why do you need to see them?
Well, it's not that it's this person right now, because people come and go. The person right now is just sort of pointing out things. I retweeted something that Tucker said, and he just went into Tucker, and I'm like, well, you're not really going into me, but it's that kind of stuff, and it's just disagreeing with everything that I'm like, well, I want to be able to see a disagreement if you're having one so that I can consider it. And they haven't really crossed that line, so until they do, I'll just let it be. I just sort of, I wonder sometimes, what else are you doing if all you're doing is just looking at whatever that I post every day? But okay.
Everybody in social media culture has the ability to amplify their own thoughts and opinions on every single thought and opinion that already exists. You can manifest hundreds and thousands of other thoughts and opinions on any single thought and opinion. And, I don't want to get over my skis as somebody who has a talk radio show that I get 3 hours to talk about essentially whatever I want. There is literally nobody who comes to me and says, you need to talk about this today, or you can't talk about that today. I've literally never one time in the 4.5 years that I've had this midday show, including the 2 years that preceded on the Saturday show, not a single time has anybody ever come to me and said, this is what you need to talk about today, or you are not allowed to mention this or discuss this or talk about it. Not a single time. There is certainly, there's kind of like an edgy way of criticizing what I might do here on this show or what we might do at 97.1 that suggests that there's some sort of, top-down model of what we are allowed to talk about and what we're not. Like, they give us a sandbox and they say, here, you can play in this. That does not happen. It has never happened. And anybody who is suggesting otherwise is selling you something. I promise you that. When it comes to putting something out on social media, If I have an opinion and I put it out on social media, I have to know that whenever I put it out there, I'm making it a public statement. So anybody can come say whatever they want to say about that. And in the world that I want to live in, all of that speech is permitted. And then I get to choose what I engage in, what I push back on, what I amplify, and what I might say, wow, you've really crossed a line here. You've threatened my family, or you've tried to do something that makes me have actual fear about harm that you might exact. Then I'm going to report it. But outside of that, to me, it seems like the type of behavior that exists in a trolling world is that insatiable need to get other people to pay attention to you and whatever your personal experience is. And when the whole point is to get attention, it's not, it's the subject matter, the content that you're discussing, the tweet, whatever, is just the means to the end to get attention for people who don't get enough attention in their lives. And if my purpose in your life, because I tweeted something you disagree with, if you're using me as a means to your end of getting attention and you're using me in that fashion, I'm just going to sit that one out. I'm just not going to participate in it. And there are people who do spend a ton of time. It amazes me. And there certainly exist on all sides of the political spectrum. I just think it's kind of sad to me to watch people be so passionately dedicated to trying to mess up somebody else's day, because I really view it like if they don't get through the day without getting a little bit of attention from any one of these people who they would repeatedly troll, then they kind of had a bad day. That's not an existence that I want, or that I really even want to support or feed. How do you deal with the trolls, Brad?
Generally, I mute them, but sometimes I, mess with them.
Can't help it.
No, well, it's just I'm bored at that moment, and it's like, hey, this is a great time to mess with this person. It's like, especially if they're obviously trolling. Then I do what Ryan does. I troll back.
I do that.
I do not troll back.
But to me, it really depends on how egregious the troll is. I mean, sometimes some of the stuff that they say, you can tell is intentionally designed to be hurtful and cutting and mean-spirited. And I don't suffer that. I don't like that.
Has anyone ever hurt your feelings on Twitter?
Not my feelings, no. I mean, I don't really care what they say. But that's because I spent most of my life like developing callous to mean people, and almost to the point where people think that I'm like oblivious. So I'm not. It just doesn't hurt anymore. But so no, some random person with no real name on Twitter with a profile pic of, I don't know, Popeye on there is not going to like ruin my day, But again, I don't like bullies, and I don't like when people bully other people. And so when I see that online, sometimes I step in and just throw shade back.
Is it possible for people to hurt your feelings, Ryan, on Twitter?
Yeah. Yes. But I know it's coming, because it's usually when I follow certain entertainers, especially comedians, and a lot of them are really left-leaning. So they'll say stuff that's political, and there's literally nobody in hundreds and hundreds of comments saying anything to the contrary. So I'm like, I can't not say anything. I'm like, I got to say something. So I'll say something. And then the dog pile that was the hundreds of comments is now on me. And I knew it was coming, but some of them that are just like, yeah, you're a big and then blank idiot. That stuff, I'm like, it doesn't really hurt my feelings, but it makes me feel bad for whoever that person is. And it makes me feel bad for stepping into that. Like I needed to step into that. I don't know. So yes, I am an emotional person. I'm dressing up as Mary Todd Lincoln tomorrow, and I have intense shame about it.
I'm clipping that.
I was going to say it's not really possible to hurt my feelings, but Kev just decided to log on and said Annie looks tired, and now I'm going to go cry.
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
I put my red lipstick on. What do I – honestly, this will not hurt my feelings, because you guys see me every day and you know the schedule I keep. I am tired. I invest in a lot of creams to make me not look tired. Do I look tired today?
No.
Hannah's saying the right thing. Ryan, Lay it on me.
Oh, you look great. Well, here, I'll say this. I can tell that you've used a lot of creams today, and you've done a great job. See? That's a
Creams
compliment.
look great.
You're not supposed to see the creams.
Today's a full cream day.
Brad, do I look tired today?
You look lovely today.
You guys are ridiculous. Thanks, Kevin. You made me feel really sad inside.
Is it okay if people criticize our looks tomorrow?
They can criticize your looks tomorrow. You better do Mary
No,
Todd
they
Nice.
can't. I'm emotional. I'll take it personally.
You are emotional.
Weep in your dress.
You're already getting into character.
Yeah.
No, I'll have to go crazy to get into
She
that
was
character.
very melancholy.
Yeah, she was melancholy and she kind of lost
Very
it.
emotional.
What? We're doing a show. I don't even know what she's doing.
She's laughing at you.
I know, but I don't know why.
Let's go to break.
Okay.
Man, how many? If
385 votes,
We
we
need
need 400.
15 votes, and I will be Abraham Lincoln tomorrow. Ryan will be Mary Todd Lincoln. That's going to be so funny. I can't stop thinking about it. Hannah is going to be Donald Trump. And what's Donald Trump without Melania? Well, 400 votes on the Anti-Fry YouTube live chat poll today, and Brad will be Hannah's Melania. What are we doing? We'll be right back.
But if you close your eyes.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow. The Mark Reardon Show.
Tom Closa, the founder of the Oil Price Information Service.
I actually think gasoline prices are going to muddle around where they are now. They might move a nickel higher or a nickel lower.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
So Air Comfort Service, online at aircomfortservice.com, your destination, your faithful, trusty HVAC folks who can make sure that your HVAC system is in perfect working order. I keep hearing about energy rates and the way they are going up and up and up. I know that I'll speak for myself. I cannot afford to have an old HVAC system running in my house that's not heating and cooling the way it's supposed to heat and cool. If you have an inefficient system, if it's old, if it hasn't been tuned up in a long time, reach out to Air Comfort Service. You don't necessarily have to replace anything, but you want to make sure that you are not wasting an opportunity to tune it up, to provide the maintenance that you need for it, so that when you are going in and turning that furnace on, blowing the air throughout the entire house, it is heating and cooling exactly the way that it's supposed to be. Go to aircomfortservice.com, or you can call them. Put this number in your phone right now, 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091, online at aircomfortservice.com.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right, nice, soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO, or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
Want to catch up with the 97.1 FM Talk team? Well, join us for a happy hour on Thursday evening, November 3rd from 5:30 to 7:30 at Rock and Brews in Chesterfield.
Sponsored by the Retirement Advisory Group. The entire team's going to be there. We're going to be listening to live music, talking midterms. This event is free, but you need to register at 971talk.com/events.
That's Thursday, November 3rd from 5:30 to 7:30 at Rock and Brews in Chesterfield. Get all the details and sign up at 971talk.com/events.
The only person who can change your life is you, but you need to know how. Listen to my show, The Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studios. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 53 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Little less conversation, a little more action, please. All this aggravation ain't satisfaction in me. A little more fight, a little less spark. A little less fight, a little more spark. Close your mouth and open up your heart and maybe satisfy me.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're happy you're with us. Pretty packed show today. This 2 o'clock hour has been ridiculous, but we did talk to Steve Cortez right at noon. We spoke with Hans von Spakovsky about the latest development in the bank accounts and the transactions that have been revealed about Hunter Biden and their connection to China and the CCP. That was all with Hans von Spakovsky at about 12:25. So if you're on the Odyssey app, rewind to 12:25 and pick up where you might have left off there. At 1:10, we talked to Tyrus, and I asked him about should adults dress up. Now, I am not a dresser-upper. I guess tomorrow I will be. But what do you think about costume parties? Ryan, if you get invited to, if you find out, oh, friends are having a costume party or maybe some acquaintances, kids, friends, parents are inviting you over for a Halloween costume party. Are you like, yeah, let's go, let's do this?
Back when I was single, it was a blast, but ever since I've had a wife, I have absolutely no desire to go.
No fun anymore?
Yeah, I don't have any desire to go to an adult costume party. In fact, the minute somebody says adult costume party, I'm starting to question what kind of party I'm about to go to. So I would probably not attend, even if it was told to me
what
ahead
are
of
the
time.
options? What kind of parties have you accidentally showed up at?
You ever seen
Eyes Wide Shut?
Eyes Wide Shut.
Nope.
Me
What?
Me either, because it would be inappropriate for me to watch that movie. So
I've also seen Jurassic Park, but I've never stumbled upon a T-Rex.
I'm not sure how that relates to Eyes Wide Shut. Maybe
Just because
1999.
Eyes Wide Shut is because there was something going on weird in a movie. Did you have an experience? Like you swore off costume parties with other grown-ups just in case you'd fall into an Eyes Wide Shut situation?
I think that summarizes it fairly well.
I mean, that might be a reason. I just want to make sure I got it straight.
He's like, I don't know what the risk is, but it's too high.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And if it's at
just
a
like
mansion,
you go to an island, tropical island, there might be some, like T-Rexes running around in a raptor.
That's ridiculous. But here's the deal.
I don't know about those Collinsville
If I get
parties.
invited to some sort of swanky party that's at a mansion and they say it's a masquerade ball, I'm probably not going to go because I think that somebody might try to pull me into a room. And I don't want to be pulled into a room.
Have you literally ever been invited to a masquerade ball?
No, because I project that I would not go.
You're not the type of guy.
Yep. That's why.
So let's, for instance, say that maybe somebody from your church says, hey, let's have a Halloween family party. Everybody costumes, dress up and everything. On the off chance that the movie that I haven't seen, an Eyes Wide Shut situation doesn't apply there.
I don't think that, no, you're right. I don't think an Eyes Wide Shut
I would hope not.
situation applies there. However, if
You want to talk about your
somebody from my church came and said, hey, Ryan, we're having a neat costume party. You want to come to our adults only costume party? I would say, no, nerd. Get out of here, you dumb party.
So what Ryan's actually thinking is they're just going to tell me that, and I'm going to show up dressed up, and they're all going to be normal, and they're going to laugh at me.
Mm-hmm. And you know how emotional I get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no.
In your dress.
You know, the last time I think I went to an actual costume party, I was single, so I stand by that.
What's like, you don't like it just because you're married now?
I think I would just go to meet girls. And, the last
Pick
one I
up
went
the
to.
chick. What was the Eyes Wide Shut movie about?
I don't know. I've never seen the film, Annie. It's something that I don't.
Can you
want to
imagine
dabble
Ryan?
in.
Can you imagine Ryan stumbling into a costume party to meet chicks?
Here's what's
What were you
terrible
dressed
about
up as the last time
The
you
last
went?
time I went, and I was going to meet girls, I was dressed up, but it was assigned to you. It was like a murder mystery costume party. So everybody had to come as a character, and I had to come as Shrek. So I'm like, what the heck? Why am I coming as Shrek? And then the one before that, I had to come as George Burns. Like, I'm not going to meet any girls as George Burns.
If I had to explain you to people who didn't know you,
Yeah,
I wouldn't be able to do it. I'd be like, it's inexplainable. I can't do it. It's funny, though, because I saw that you were in costume this morning.
Yeah, that was for the company. Trisha told me.
Costume party?
Well, yeah, she told me. She said, look, you have to dress up because I want to make sure some people are dressed up for our costume party. Otherwise, it's going to be a failure. So I came wearing exactly what I'm wearing with a wig and a hat. That was the minimal effort I could put in.
You literally attended in costume a costume party this morning.
Yes, but it was to support a friend, Trisha.
But you did it. You dressed up.
Did you pick up any chicks?
I'm not on the market. And no, I know all the girls here.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that I'm married.
Yeah.
And this is not some sort of weird eyes wide shut situation in the break room. There was barbecue and there was cake. And I was fine with that.
Have you seen Eyes Wide Shut?
No, I don't want to see it, apparently.
You have, Brad?
I have seen it.
Have you?
Oh, no.
How do you know then?
Because
Why are you so tangled up in it then?
You've sworn off an entire form of entertainment with friends because of a movie you haven't seen?
I know what it's about, and I have a feeling that it's like the party that Ace Ventura shows up at the beginning of Ace Ventura, except more sex. And that intimidates me a little bit. And I don't even want to try that. I don't even want to go near it, Annie. But if somebody said...
I don't even know how to respond to that. I don't want to go near it.
But if somebody said, hey, if you show up at work on Thursday and you put a trucker hat on and you wear flannel, I will have cake and barbecue for you. That is a deal I can get
You
behind.
could have gotten the cake and the barbecue without dressing up.
He heard cake and barbecue. He's like, I don't even know the rest of the details. I'll be there.
I'm putting a wig on. People say cake and barbecue, and it's like April. I'm still
will you
putting a
come
wig
to this masquerade ball at this like lonely mountain estate? Is there cake and barbecue? I'm in.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. Well, Friday we're dressing up, and I hate it. I'll be Abraham Lincoln. Ryan is going to be married. Todd Lincoln, Hannah, Donald Trump, and you guess it, Brad is going to be Melania. Be there for it. My goodness. This is going to be ridiculous.
We still don't know how we're going to do it yet. We know we've got Abraham Lincoln picked out, but all the rest of this has been happening live.
Listen, Johnny Brox has got our back.
We're in connection with Johnny Brox, and this is much more planned out than you know.
Apparently.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I knew nothing about this.
You want to get to the results? It would be awesome if
the
they would have
results of the poll.
It would be awesome if, now that we know 400 of you folks out there,
We don't know if you said yes or no.
log on to the poll and vote. We need you to do that every day. Some people are like, I voted with 30 accounts. I can't vote every day if I think Biden's going to finish his term. Yeah. What do we got?
All right. The poll question is asking, should we dress Annie up as Abraham Lincoln for our Friday Halloween show? Yes or no? 84% of the people said yes. 16% of them said no. We did have 415 votes, though.
Wow.
So how that breaks out is at first it was 255 for Annie to be Abraham Lincoln. Then it was 300 for Ryan to be Mary Todd Lincoln. 350?
Her middle name's Todd.
352.
352
Isn't
for
that her
me to
maiden
be
name?
Donald Trump.
I don't know.
400 for Brad to be Melania. And we ended up with 416 now. So all of us will be dressed up tomorrow. I'm
ridiculous.
Scared.
Ridiculous.
I'm not coming if it's one of those kind of parties, though, tomorrow. You know what I mean.
We're not 100% sure what those kind of parties are. Brad's the only one who knows, and we only know what you're afraid of.
Brad does know.
It's-
Brad's going to
it's-
have to fill me in.
Listen, it's a lot more fun to let you speculate.
I have to go to a refined event tonight
Me
with
too.
Abby Johnson. Yeah, you'll be there. It's like when what did we do that one day when we had Ted Cruz on? Something ridiculous. It was
That wasn't that
the
long
Muhammad.
ago.
song?
No. I don't know. This show is all over the place. We're grateful that you spend some of your afternoon with us. Thank you for being here. A reminder to download that Odyssey app, AUDACY, and you can rewind to the serious part of the show, which was way earlier in the show than where you are right now. Stick around. The Mark Reardon Show is coming up next.